Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Hello, squirrels of the world. Shout out to Mittens, first in the chat tonight. Mittens for kittens, love it. Also love the name. You know what's really funny too? Have you ever thought about, this question is for Mittens specifically, thought about how your like YouTube picture thingy mabobber looks like an M&M? Here, let me pull that comment up so people can see. Oh, it doesn't look like an M&M when it's like that. Anyway, the way it looks in StreamYard, it looks, the brown part is round. And so it looks like, instead of a square, so it looks like an M&M. Anyways, pretty funny. Shout out to Mittens. So you've seen, I'm glad you've been able to see it round, so that way you know what I'm talking about, because I don't know why, like when I pull it up, it's square, but like in the chat, it's round. Anyways, she says, he or she says they thought it too. So yes, excellent. So shout out to the Mittens. Hope you guys had a wonderful rest of your week. I have all kinds of crazy stories for y'all about my rest of the week for when we get there. Yep. You guys are in for a treat for what happened to me on Wednesday. But yeah, we can put it in the category of things that would only ever happen to squirrel, as in squirrel with a capital S, as in this particular squirrel here. So yes, so here we are. We left off last time with document number 42, and hopefully we will be lucky enough to have Kane and or Twiz join us for some reading, because that's always fun. What am I need to zoom? How much do I need to zoom in? This is probably fine. Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump right on in here. Supplemental report number 42. This time we have Justin Dean. I think this is the first time we're seeing a report from him. Wait, hold on. Is this number 42? No, wait. Nope. Sorry. That was number 50. Let me zoom in. Okay, here we go. Just kidding. It's another Meowry. That's what we have to look forward to. Right, meow. Meowry. Number 42. JG might be wrapping up his live. Okay, cool. Good. Okay. And there's Super Planner Girl. Hi, Amanda. So we have the Meowry on November 13th. Okay, we know about this. All right. Dylan was interviewed in regard to the homicide investigation. Dylan said she was a resident of the house where, oh boy, we're going to get into more Dylan, where the incident occurred. Dylan said she was at a blank party at around 10:30 where she was drinking, and she went to something house. Dylan said she believed she arrived home between 12:30 and 1. She said she thought Bethany arrived home around 20 minutes after she arrived. Dylan said she believed Maddie and Kaylee arrived home at around 1:30 or 2. Dylan said up to this, nothing weird happened. I think that's supposed to say up to this point. Nothing weird had happened during the night. Dylan said she and her friend, somebody, came home, followed by Bethany, her roommate, at the residence. Dylan said when Maddie and Kaylee came home from the corner club at the same time, everyone went to bed. He didn't even capitalize the C's in corner club, which is just craziness to me. Dylan was asked about the layout of her house. Dylan said Kaylee's room was directly above her room. Dylan said she lived on the second floor and Kaylee lived on the third floor. Dylan said Kaylee and Maddie both live upstairs on the third floor in separate rooms. Live. Okay, live. Because didn't Kaylee move out prior to this? Anyway, Dylan said Xana lived closest to the bathroom on the second floor and Bethany lived on the first floor. When asked about Murphy, Dylan said it was a dog owned in common between Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. Dylan said there were no apparent issues between Kaylee and Jack. Dylan said Maddie had a boyfriend named, I forget what his name is. It's another J.S. There's a bazillion of them, who was in Boise at the time of the incident. Wait. Hang on, let me look at my list. So the name Jack Showalter, that's Hoodie Dude, right? Isn't that Hoodie Dude? Then there's also a different JS. That's the chicken guy with the pocket knife. Are there 3 JSs? And I know there was also a Jake and a Jack, or 2 Jakes, 2 Jacks and a Jake. Oh boy. In other words, I just want to confirm that Hoodie Dude is Jack Showalter and that that's not Maddie's boyfriend, right? Because yeah, it can't be. Also shout out to Doug. Welcome on in. And also welcome to, did I see Mary? There's Mary. Hi, Mary. Right. I couldn't agree more there, Doug. Okay. So yes and yes, confirming that Jack Showalter is Hoodie Dude and Jake S was Maddie's boyfriend. Okay. It's just really fucking confusing. I mean, with all this. It really is. It really is. And it's just harder because, again, with the redactions, I mean, the redactions wouldn't really be a problem were it not for the fact that everybody has the same fucking initials. Anyways. Okay. So Dylan indicated that Xana was dating Ethan, who was in the room with her at the time of the incident. Dylan did not know of anyone who would want to hurt Ethan when she was asked. Dylan was asked if she saw any cars in the area that should not be there. She said, no, I was not really looking at that. Welcome on in, whatever, clever. Dylan said she woke up at around 4 a.m. where she could hear, and he spelled here wrong. Okay, well, we're hot. Okay, I'm not holding out. I'm not signatures. I'm not holding back anymore with my highlighting because I just can't not. Because this is just insanity to me. Why is it crappy? Oh my God. You know, I just wanted to highlight it. Okay. Right. I guess it's going to highlight it crappily. Okay. He spelled here wrong. Kaylee and Murphy, the dog, dancing. Wait, dancing? Like dancing with the dogs? Like Sarah Boone? What? How did we get to dancing with the dogs again? Dylan said she knew it was Kaylee because she recognized her voice and could hear Murphy barking. Dylan said she heard Kaylee go upstairs and say there is someone here. Dylan said she thought she heard Kaylee run back down the stairs. Dylan said Kaylee sounded scared when she made this statement. Dylan said at this time she jumped up and locked the door because she did not know what else to do. Dylan says she called out Kaylee's name and did not indicate if she got a response. Dylan, well, did you ask her then? I mean, we know she didn't. Well, we don't really know. Dylan, and I'm not even going to pick this apart because every single thing that Dylan has said is completely different every time, so it's just useless. Dylan was asked if she saw anyone come downstairs or heard anything. Dylan said, no, I don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors and never had problems before. Well, that was contradicted by what the other people, friends and whatever said, where they said it was the doors were always unlocked because it was party house. People just came and went. That was already in previous reports. So anyways, so Dylan's saying the opposite. This says I was just really random. Surely it was supposed to say it, but that's another mistake. When asked again about the series of events, Dylan said she opened the door when she cried out to Kaylee, then closed the door because she was scared. Dylan said she then opened the door again and heard who she thought was Kaylee, but could have been Xana crying in the bathroom. I don't think anybody had time to do any crying. Dylan said she then heard a man's voice say, it's okay, I'm going to help you. Dylan said it was weird because the statement was not in a nice way and the voice was one she'd never heard before. Dylan said she called out to Kaylee again and there was no crying after, and she did not know what happened after that. Dylan said she opened the door again and, quote, this guy, end quote, is right there. This part about her calling out to Kaylee, again, this is actually a new was not said in any of the other statements that we have from Dylan so far or had previously. But the reason I think it's interesting is because, there was a possibility that it could be possible that she wasn't seen, right? Because it was dark and whatever. But if you've got her also calling out to Kaylee, then the odds increase that she was seen alive, right? Or that it was known that she was there and was alive. Anyways, okay. Dylan said she called out to Kaylee again and there was no crying after, and she did not know what happened after that. Dylan said she opened the door again and this guy's right there. Oh, I already read that part. She described the male as approximately her height, such as 5'10" or a few inches taller. Not skinny, but athletic build. I mean, that part's consistent. Like, that's like the one thing. Not skinny, but athletic, basically. It's essentially, in terms of that. Dylan said the suspect was wearing all black with masks that covered just his forehead and goes around his face. Dylan showed with her hands the mask exposed his nose but covered the mouth area. Dylan said she believed the suspect was white, but did not remember eyebrow color or what his eyes looked like. Eyebrow color? Dylan said when she saw the suspect, he saw her and just left. Okay, so there she says he saw her. Dylan said she believed he was holding something near his stomach or belt line. Dylan used both hands to point straight out from her abdomen. Dylan then moved her hands apart and back together to simulate a bulge. Dylan said this area was black in color and thought now maybe it was a gun. Dylan said the unknown object had an arrow shape. This is just bizarre, guys. An arrow shape? But a bulge implies roundedness, right? Like when they say bulge, like in that area, I'm thinking of like pregnant belly, like a bulge. But now it's an arrow shape. Dylan seemed really unsure. Well, yeah, that's clear. Anne said she was tired during the event, right? And that's an understatement of this at the time. Dylan was asked how long she believed it was from the time Kaylee said someone is here to when she saw the suspect. Dylan said she thought it was about 10 or 20 minutes. Dylan went on to say that she was in and out of it and did not fully remember the incident. Dylan was asked where the suspect was in the residence when she saw him. She said the suspect was between her bedroom door and the kitchen. Dylan said she remembered watching the suspect go out the kitchen door and leave. So here is the first time we're seeing it coming from Dylan, that she saw him go out the door. Although having said that, this is Meowry narrating what she said. I want to see the interview, right? Because as we know, that everything else where it was like direct quotes from Dylan, right? Or whatever, was never seeing him go out the door, but like walking in that direction. And then it was clear, and as we've pointed out in previous live streams, that the prosecution and or law enforcement, actually, I guess both, sort of how should we say, expanded upon that to adding it going out the door, but that was never stated. Now here it does state that, but again, it's Meowry saying like E-suit. I mean, it's not a direct quote. So anyway, I can't wait till you see the interviews, because this is so unreliable, guys, right? Like with so many typos and I mean, beyond even just the factual issues, right? Just in terms of just the how to say it, the accuracy in these reports based even just solely upon the grammar errors and the countless errors, right? They got names wrong a lot of the time with ones that weren't redacted. I mean, it's just, so there's been plenty of times where I'm like, it's hard to tell if this is just a mistake or a mistake or an error on part of the officer who wrote the report, or if that's what somebody actually said, right? So even if you delete the other errors, right? The errors in the reports alone, it necessitates seeing the interviews ourselves, I feel like. Okay. Like, in other words, even if they were trying to, well, okay, I'll just leave it at that. I think you guys get the point. All right. So Dylan said at this time she closed the door and locked it as fast as she could. How do you lock a door fast? Dylan said the suspect did not walk toward her or say anything. Dylan said once the suspect left, she immediately called. Oh, my brain wanted to put law enforcement or 911, but no, that's right. It's not. It's Bethany. Dylan said Bethany informed her she heard a sound that sounded like a firework. Dylan then said she told Bethany she called everyone and they were not answering. This is so crazy. Where was this bulge? Yes, great question. Love that, Doug. I was thinking the same thing. Of course, you guys know. You guys know. Oh, thanks for letting me know, Mary. I mean, I know he's not bullied here, but I understand, and I'm glad thank you for letting me know, because yeah, I still haven't gotten caught up on Discord. I still need to do that. Right, nothing can be believed. Yeah. Okay, so, and also welcome to anyone who's just now getting here, including Meats and Z's. Right, firework. Dylan then said she told, oh, by the way, for anyone who's like, oh, you didn't mention sending Twiz's text. I actually sent it while the intro was playing. I sent his special text and he replied, but yet it seems like Twiz is not here. So I don't know. Dylan said she was in and out of it and believed everyone was just asleep. Dylan said she then went to Bethany's room, locked the door, and went to bed. Dylan said she woke up at around 11 or 12 and called her roommates and no one answered. We know that's not true. Dylan said she called H. H came to the residence. Who was that again? I can't even fucking Henry. There's just been so many names. It's the knife dude, right? The crazy knife dude who gets the kitchen knife. So he came to the residence, went upstairs and told Dylan they needed to call law enforcement immediately. Dylan was asked if there was anything else she wanted to share. Dylan said the noise Bethany described, again, all the errors. Dylan said the noise, Bethany described the noise. That's what this says. As a loud boom. Wait, is this not the firework? This is dumb. You guys. A firework and a loud boom are completely different sounds. Is he trying to say here, but he can't make sentences? Is he trying to say that they were referencing the same noise, but it sounded like a firework to Bethany and a loud boom to Dylan? Let me read it again verbatim as the way it's stated here from Meowry. Dylan said the noise, Bethany described the noise as a loud boom, but Dylan did not hear it. Well, no, I guess she didn't hear it. I honestly, I can't make heads or tails of this. This is really, Dylan didn't hear the noise at all, or didn't hear the loud boom. I can't, I don't know. This is useless, honestly. Dylan was asked if any of her roommates shared any weird experiences in the last couple of weeks, or calls or texts. Again, weird phrasing there. Dylan said, no, it's all been normal. Nothing weird at all. Nothing really weird happens in Moscow usually. That's an odd answer. But again, this is from Meowry, so how reliable is it? When I asked if there were any altercations at the blank party. Oh my God. You guys, this is ridiculous. Look, I'm going to read this again. When asked if there were any altercations at the blank party, period. It's not a complete sentence. Just. Dylan said, no, everything was normal. Dylan mentioned again she was with another D person and Xana at the party. Dylan was asked if anyone was having sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be. What does that even fucking mean? Dylan said no. Dylan brought up an incident which occurred about a month prior. Dylan said she and Bethany remembered Kaylee saw a shadow while she was taking Murphy out. That says outside. It should say outside. Like the wildcat. Outside? Fucking hell. A shadow. Dylan said Kaylee also mentioned when she was at something 2 or 3 weeks prior, an individual was following her. Dylan also said she arrived home one time and the door of the residence at 1122 King Road was found open. Okay, let me just say this. In the previous paragraph, it says, Dylan was asked if any of her roommates shared any weird experiences in the last couple weeks, or calls or texts. And then she says, it's been all normal. Nothing weird at all. Nothing weird happens in Moscow usually. Well, then then why are you mentioning all this? Is this not weird? Like, I don't understand. It's like she says no. And I guess that thing happened where she's like, no, nothing weird happened. And then they like keep pressing. And then she starts naming things but again, does she really think they're weird? Because she said nothing weird happened. So anyway, these other incidents. So now we're at, right, the door being locked. Here's the thing. If it were me and somebody was like, oh, did anything weird happen? And I had come home to find the door wide open, that would be the first thing, or one of the, unless there's something weirder than that, that would come to mind, right? Like that's troubling. So if I came home and found my door open when it wasn't supposed to be open, 2 things would happen. Like, for the first would be the panic of, is Frodo still here, right? Because Frodo would probably have ran out. The second thing would be, did somebody break in? Is somebody still in the house? Like, related to how the door got open. Okay, first, so I'm gonna keep reading here. So Dylan said she did not believe the slider door was locked the night of 11/12. Dylan said she heard Murphy barking a lot around 4 a.m. when Kaylee went upstairs. Dylan said she heard Murphy go outside barking as well. Dylan was unsure if Murphy would chase a suspect outside. So it makes you wonder, did somebody let Murphy outside? And again, we were talking about this before because there were reports from like a neighbor saying that they were like 100% sure that Murphy was outside barking. And it was like, well, that would make sense as to how Murphy didn't end up like as part of the crime scene or in the crime scene or covered in blood. Dylan was unsure if Mercy would chase the suspect outside. Dylan said she did not remember if the suspect who ran left the slider open. Now, where did the running come from? Interview 2. Oh, Hunter. Thank you, Doug. Hunter said around... Okay, Hunter, right. Thank you. That's the knife dude. Hunter said around 1200 hours on 11/13, Dylan called Emily, which is Hunter's girlfriend. Dylan told Emily she thought something was not right in her house. You call we call 911. Anyway, there's no point, right? Everyone knows. Dylan also told Emily she heard or saw a man in her house. Heard or saw, but not both. Like the or implies either, right? Heard or saw. But her statements so far were both. She heard and saw. Okay. Heard or saw a man in her house the night prior. Dylan asked Emily and Hunter to come over and make sure everything was okay. It's like, what? Because she locked herself in Bethany's room. It's like, if you think something, like, why would you invite your friends over into a possible death trap? It's like, I'm too scared to go look, so you guys go do it. Like, what? That's why you, dude. It's like, if you think it's that bad that you can't go look, why would you want your friends to go look? And if it's not that bad, why didn't you just do it? Anyway, okay. Wow. Hunter said he entered the code to the front door. Code to the front door. Okay, that's the first that I've seen about code to the front door. Okay. No, don't do that, please. Just highlight it, please. No, highlighting. Oh my God. Adobe code. Okay. To the front door where Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room on the first floor. You know, while I'm at it, I should go ahead and highlight this murder saw. Entered the code to the front door where Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room on the first floor. Dylan and Bethany were telling Hunter they did not know what was going on. Well, that's clear. We don't know what's going on. Hunter said they went up the stairs and immediately went into Xana's room. Hunter said this was the only room he went into. Hunter said when he approached the door, it was only partially open. Hunter said when he opened it, he saw Xana and Ethan. Hunter said he initially did. I thought Xana was in the hallway. Wasn't Xana in the hallway? No, Murphy was in the vacant bedroom. That came out in one of the earlier reports, and we're only on number 42. And that was in one of the first reports, and I highlighted a bunch of stuff there as it pertained to Murphy because I thought it was noteworthy. So no, that was for sure. Murphy was in the vacant bedroom that used to be Kaylee's. Although she still had a bed there because at one point they said that Murphy went under the bed or whatever, something like that. But yeah, that's where Murphy was. And I think also there was a balcony. So I always wondered too, this part about Murphy going outside. I imagine it was Murphy probably going onto that balcony. But in order for that to happen, either the door had to already be open to the balcony, in which case wouldn't you be letting all the cold air in, or someone had to open that door to let Murphy out onto the balcony. But Murphy being out on the balcony, like let's imagine that Murphy was put on the balcony by anybody, and then they closed that door. That would explain how Murphy didn't come in and get blood all. But at the same time, why would you do that, right? Unless it, why would Kaylee do that? Like that wouldn't make any sense. They were both in the room. Oh, you're talking about Xana? Yeah, I don't know. I thought up to this point, I thought we had heard. Well, I thought that it was that Xana was like in the hallway, but again, you guys are probably much further along than I am in these because my understanding from something else from some other court document, right, was that she was like in the hallway or like half in, half out. Yeah, I don't know anything yet about the 22 boxes. I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so when he opened it, he saw Xana and Ethan. Hunter said he initially did not realize all the blood was dried blood in the room. Hunter said he thought at first they had been drunk and left a mess. Wow. Hunter said that when he stood there for a moment, he began to realize what he was seeing. Hunter then said Bethany and Dylan were uncontrollably crying. It doesn't describe him leaving the scene, but anyway, Hunter said he then told them to get out of the house and call law enforcement. Hunter said he then went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. Oh, so he had 2 entries into the house. I thought there was only one. I thought he went in the first time and grabbed the knife. Okay. Huh. I mean, when I say I thought that, that was what it read like from previous filings about this with the knife. So now he went in twice. Hunter said he then went into the room and grabbed checked the closet to make sure there was not anyone else in the room. This is craziness. Hunter said he checked for a pulse on both Xana and Ethan. Hunter said both of the bodies had rigor mortis and were cold with no breath or pulse. Hunter said he believed the two had been deceased for a while. Hunter said he believed he left the knife on the folding table in the living room. Hunter said Emily, somebody else, and somebody else, God, all these people started to enter the house and come up the stairs. Why are there more people coming? I can't remember. I mean, there's no good reason for it. So anyways, Hunter told them to get out of the residence. Hunter said this was about the time MPD arrived on the scene. Hunter said the officer told him to stay where he was at. Hunter said he did not know if anyone else was upstairs as he had not gone anywhere else now. So he's reiterating he did not go onto the 3rd floor. Hunter said he had trouble comprehending what he was seeing. Hunter said he was not at the blank party the night prior. Hunter said he and Ethan were texting the night prior by phone. Hunter said Ethan wanted him to come over, but Hunter chose not to. Hunter said he knew Ethan since fall of 2021. Hunter said he was in something and Ethan was a member of the thing. These are probably frats. Hunter indicated J and E were in the same sorority and were roommates. Hunter said L, who was also present, was in the fraternity something and was currently dating J. Hunter said he and L stayed at J's apartment with Emily and J the night of 11/12. Hunter was asked when was the last time he was at 112 King Road. Hunter indicated he was last at the residence on 11/12, where he was pre-gaming for the Vandals football game. Hunter said he got to the residence at around 1200 or 1300 hours and left at about 1430 hours to go to a different party. Hunter said Hunter said the last time Emily, it's just confusing. Emily was at 112 King Road was Friday. Hunter did not know of anyone who had issues with Ethan and Xana dating. Hunter estimated Xana and Ethan were dating for 8 months. Hunter said he knew Xana very well through his girlfriend, Emily. Hunter said he was not very familiar with Maddie or Kaylee. Hunter allowed pictures to be taken of his phone of the conversations between him and Ethan. Right. I know, Doug, it just skips the part where they're told anything. Like it just skips that. Now, if I recall, I'm trying to remember from back in the 911 call. I'm trying to remember. I feel like they're told, right? But like, anyways, yeah, but that was completely skipped in this particular narrative of what happened. It didn't even describe him leaving the room or coming downstairs. It's just like he teleported and then they're crying. Okay, so interview number 3. Jay said she text, so that's either supposed to be that should be texted. Bethany at 11:20 hours on the morning of 11:13. Oh, is this Bethany's dad or whatever? Anyway, Jay asked Bethany if she was awake. Jay said Bethany called her back. Oh no, it's a girl. At 11:49 hours, Bethany told Jay she and Dylan, I guess, were in Bethany's room. Jay said Bethany was freaked out because her roommates were not answering the phone. Jay said she heard Dylan on the phone in the background saying, "I saw something." Jay said Bethany asked her to come over to 112 King Road and pick her up. Jay said Bethany should be texted her while she was driving there and said Emily and Hunter were on the way as well. Jay said as she arrived, MPD units were arriving as well. Jay said she did not go to the blank party, but went to a different one instead. Jay said Bethany and Dylan came to this other party after she left something. Jay estimated Dylan left her party. Oh, Jay is Jenna. Thank you. Dylan left her party at 12:30, and Bethany left her party at around 1 a.m. Jenna said she was in something with, I'm sure it's a sorority with Dylan and other people, Bethany included. Jenna said Xana and Maddie were both in da-da-da. So I guess that's a different sorority, but they dropped out. And Kaylee was in da-da-da. So I guess, again, a different sorority, but dropped out as well. Jenna suspected they girls, for fuck's sake, the girls dropped their respective sororities because of issues with other girls in the houses. That wouldn't surprise me because I can only imagine. I would never be able to. I couldn't. I'm just not that. Yeah. Last thing I'd ever do is be anywhere near a sorority. Yeah. Jenna specifically cited girls on the executive board who tell other members what to do. Jenna suspected this is what they did not like. Yeah, that sounds shitty. I would not like that. Another reason why I would not go anywhere near a sorority. Jenna confirmed she, something, and Dylan, I guess, were still active members in something. Jenna said the girls who were still active members of the sorority who chose not to live in the house did so because of money issues. Jenna said Maddie was, I guess, Bethany's big sister in the sorority house. And I think we have a new squirrel friend, Dale, saying, take it easy on the survivors, please. Nobody knows what they'll do in a horrific situation. The police have made, right. I keep pointing that out constantly, that there's tons of mistakes. That's why I said, and it might have been before you got here, that like, the only solution here is to see the interviews, because there's so many errors in these reports, that, you know what I mean? You just can't, they're not reliable. So again, it just speaks to the fact that we need to just be able to see them ourselves. Hopefully we will at some point, so we can actually hear it. And, and also here's Kane. Welcome, Kane. Hi. So, and a shout out to anyone who's new, including Dale. Welcome on in. So, okay. Then Jenna said she knew Kaylee saw a dark figure staring at her from the tree line when she took her dog Murphy out to pee. Jenna said this occurred about a month ago at 112 King Road. Jenna said there has been lighthearted talk and jokes made about a stalker in the past. Jenna said all the girls were slightly nervous about it being a fact, though. Jenna did not indicate any social media issues or issues between the girls who lived together. Jenna said there was no issue with girls from the blank sorority and the residents at 112 King Road. Jenna said the front door had issues with locking, and sometimes it could be opened without a code. Okay. Jenna said she did not know the code to the front door. Jenna said she was unsure if the residents kept the back sliding door locked regularly. That's weirdly worded weirdly. Hi, Iowa. Welcome on in. Okay. Now we have another interview. So, L, I don't know who this is. Some dude said he did not go to the blank party. Well, we can't really assume it's a dude. It could be a she, and they could be mixing up their pronouns because that would be par for the course. So let's not make too affirmative of a statement there. So far, it should be a dude. We'll see. Al said he went to sleep at 2:20. What is that? 2 a.m. At I guess Jenna's apartment on Taylor Avenue, or is it a different J? Who knows? Al said he woke up around 2 or 3. Wait a second. No. Sorry. That's 20. Okay. Military time. 2000. So that's, what is that? That's actually, sorry. That's 10 p.m. No, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Yeah. 8 p.m. Right. So I don't fucking, now I'm confused because this is just, what is 8 p.m.? Okay, 8 p.m. Thank you guys. So he went to bed at 8 p.m. and woke up at 2 or 3 a.m. That's okay. There we go. Interesting. He said Jenna and I guess Emily were up talking in the living room of the apartment until about 5 a.m. Else indicated Hunter was present but not awake during this time. Elle said, oh my God, it just repeats it. It says, Elle said. They all went to bed at this time and then woke up again around what he thought was 9 a.m. Elle said Hunter and Emily came to the room where he and Jenna were. Elle said Dylan had called Emily around, oh my God, 1000 hours. So, geez, what would that be? 10 a.m.? I guess 10 a.m., right? And sounded scared. Elle said Dylan told Emily someone had been in her house last night. Elle said, oh wait. It does it again. Elle said, or no, that's a D maybe? I can't, dude, this is a mess. Elle said, okay, no, that's Dylan. Dylan and Bethany ran downstairs and locked themselves in a room. Elle said Dylan informed them she did this because of her seeing someone in the house, and Dylan could only see his nose and chin. Elle said Dylan was freaking out and wanted them to come over. Like that, it's just the last thing I would do. I would be like, no, I'm calling 911. Anyways, Elle said he walked with Emily, Jenna, I guess they left out the word and, to 112 King Road from Jenna's apartment on Taylor Avenue. Elle said Dylan and Bethany walked out the house crying. So they were already crying when they got there, according to this person. So there we go. That would explain the crying bit before they were told. Interesting. Elle said Hunter arrived to the residence first because he left before them. Elle said he went into the downstairs door. I think that means entered from downstairs, right? The same door with the keypad. And Hunter told him not to come up the stairs. Elle said he did not know Ethan very well. Elle said he did not recall any talk between Xana and Jenna about boy issues. Elle said he did not see anything on social media. Elle recalled an incident from about a month prior where Dylan said there was a guy stalking her. I thought it was supposed to be somebody stalking Kaylee. Elle said he did not hear anything from the night prior. Wow. Okay, it's a complete and utter mess in every way. It's like when you've got the messenger, that's complete. The messenger, as in the person who typed this, right? It's like you've got the room for error, right? When you've got everybody's drunk, right? You got that first of all, right? Even if you can say, okay, even if you were for a hypothetical, even if you could say somebody's credible or people are credible, if you then say, well, they're all drunk, and then you include they're telling their story to somebody else and somebody else is remembering it and then transcribing it later, but then it's riddled with errors. It's like anything you're reading is useless, essentially, right? Doug says, I'm slapping avocado on my toast with my pocket. No pocket knives, guys. Use a kitchen knife, people, but love avocado. I mean, and I think it's totally possible to have empathy for people who witness a crime. I mean, I have empathy. I personally feel like I have empathy for them. But the thing that just bothers me more than any of it, like, because there's a lot okay. The thing that just does not make sense to me of all of it is not calling 911. That's the thing that does not make sense to me personally. But that's just me. Okay. Like when I say that, what I mean is the thing that makes the least sense. Like the biggest thing that is like, I just can't wrap my head around it. Even if, with all of the benefit of the doubt and all of the grace given and all of the empathy, none of that gets me to explaining not calling 911. Even being shit-faced, right? Again, the being shit-faced could explain a lot of the other things that are problematic. But it still doesn't get you past not calling 911, because we know from their text messages that they were having those conversations about seeing somebody. Like we all know that, right? So it's like the fact that they were both aware of that and something was up, right? And they said, they were scared and all, we've been through all that. We've read through all that. In other words, everything that they were saying to each other indicated, regardless of how drunk they were, that at that time there was enough reason to believe that they were potentially unsafe and that there was something happening, and whatever. We've been through it. And so, memory after the fact, especially when you've been drunk, that's one thing. But at that moment, when you're afraid, the not calling 911 is the thing that is the biggest thing for me. Right. That's right. Needs to be like they were either passed out on the floor, like blackout drunk, right? Or call 911 at the earliest point possible. Right. That's how I feel about it. And I agree, Deal. I also think that's what, so far where we're at, that's what it seems like, that Murphy was on the deck. That's what I'm thinking. That Murphy was on the deck. Yep. That's what I was thinking. But not only would that explain this barking outside, but it would also explain, again, Murphy not having any blood on him and not having been involved in the crime scene. And there it is. The interviews were recorded and uploaded. So these should come out at some point. So that will be great. I mean, the thing is like, I just can't wait for that, because I will, you guys know that have been here and know how I am, right? I will watch those interviews and I will try to start from 100% a clean slate and be objective, as I always try to be, and like literally watch them and assess them completely objective. Because I have no feelings either way. And like just objective. And so that will be, for me anyway, the most reliable, right, source of what was actually said at the time, because this is a disaster. Okay. Meow. Another meowry. Okay. Number 43, guys. Now, we have eBay again. Kane, eBay again. And this is, Mallory from number 43 here. Okay. On November 29th, period. Wow. On November 29th, 2022, I found I had received 2 emails from Snapchat dated November 28th, 2022 at approximately 1700 hours. These emails provided links to download the data requested pursuant to the 2 warrants served on Snap on November 21st, 2022. The files were downloaded and saved onto a computer located in the secure computer forensic lab located at MPD. In examining the files, I located the user ID, which showed subscriber information of da-da-da. The data showed this person purchased a K-bar. So he finally got something back on his stupid eBay search. Dumbness. So this is a R person. I located 2 younger males associated with R in TLO. I have found TLO to be generally reliable in previous investigations. Those males appear to be R's sons. In reviewing R's eBay account, it appears he purchases and sells military memorabilia and equipment. I informed Sergeant Dustin Blaker of this information for follow-up. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I emailed a copy of the receipt to eBay as this was the, and again, it's even shit like this. You can't just say that. Like, again, for those of you who don't know, like, I'm a paralegal, like, in a law firm, for 2 law firms. Like, this means nothing. You sent something to eBay. What do you mean? Like, the concept of eBay? Like, that's not adequate. A better example of what you should say is something like, I also emailed a copy of the receipt to so-and-so with a name, who is the head of the blank department at eBay. And here's the address. Right now, that may make more sense. As this was the originating email address associated with, okay, whatever. Dude, it's just useless. It's fucking useless and sad. Okay, number 44, onward. Another Maori Snapchat. So this is very similar to the other ones so far, but then we got a portal. I received an email from somebody at Snapchat, providing me with case ID number. Okay, they got some emails. The files are ready to download. On November 29th, I logged into the portal and downloaded the files pursuant to the warrant. These files were downloaded to a computer in the secured forensic lab at MPD. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. At my earliest convenience? What? Okay, you guys. This is a quadruple homicide. It's a quadruple homicide. When I am writing emails, again, like at the law firm, and I say something about at your earliest convenience, I would use that reference to like, I don't even know. I guess I'm trying to think of an example and I can't think of one because literally really nothing that we deal with when it comes to like preparing for somebody's like when you're dealing with somebody being charged with a crime, really none of it is at your earliest convenience. It's just not, right? Like I'm trying to think of something. It's like, oh, can you please confirm this court date at your earliest convenience? No, you wouldn't use that. Oh, can you please send over this discovery at your earliest convenience? No, not that. I can't think of anything. Oh my God. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. Those documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Snap, as this was the originating email address associated by the document. There's Flash. Hello, Flash. Right, a non-urgent matter. And that's the thing. Is like I'm trying to think of a non-urgent matter that I've dealt with since I've started working at the law firm. I can't even think of one. Everything is on a scale of like less urgent and then all the way up to like the most urgent. That's how I view everything. It's either less urgent or it's the most urgent, and it's between. So non-urgent is something that I can't even think of it ever encountering yet. If I come across something, I will let you guys know. Okay, so and let's make sure we're not bullying anybody, please, in the chat, because everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. You know, we don't tolerate misinformation here, right? We would correct misinformation. But part of the problem is that everything we get is essentially akin to either misinformation. I'm talking about these reports here, right? Or contradicting information. So if all the information is contradicting itself or there's so many errors, to my mind, it really is akin to misinformation. Even if it wasn't meant to be intentionally misinformation, it becomes that, right? I mean, people can have their own opinion about what the intentions were, but my point is, regardless of the intention to be misinformation, it really is misinformation when it's so riddled with error. So anyway, I guess I'm just saying basically there's really no hope in terms of that, essentially. Great. Deal, I'm not sure why you're talking about Sandy Hook. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. We don't ever talk about, it's just not, it's like completely like a, I don't know. Is that related to something? Okay. Number 45. Kane, if you feel like reading, let me know. Reading Kane Bone. Again, I don't know where Twiz is. We have another Maori. Jesus. Of all the reports, the Maori ones are the most, or have far and away the most errors. Far and away. Earlier on, and with other people, some of the errors were definitely, I would say, on the more minor side, and there were fewer of them. Maori is useless. Although we learned he is able to click on a link. So far, that's the thing he can do. On November 17th, it's just, you guys. I'm going to read it again. On November 17th, 2022, I began to receive. data from the cell phone providers in response to the warrant served on is sad, really. At approximately 13:52, I received an email from somebody informing me that my files from Verizon for the requested phone call, CDR records and tower dump data were ready to be downloaded. I logged into the share file portal and downloaded the corresponding files. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Verizon, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. At approximately 15:30 hours, I received an email from somebody. This email included files containing the data requested regarding the tower dump data. That's just so redundant. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. I just lost my place because it's just so messy. Okay, there we go. To be returned to the court. Right. No, I already read that one. Okay. I received an email from something of Inland Cellular. Never heard of it. This email included files containing the data requested. Did I already read that one? I can't fucking tell anymore, dude. I completed the warrant, He just keeps repeating this, doesn't he? Emailed a receipt. Okay. Jesus. At approximately 15:30 hours, I received an email. Why approximately? Wouldn't the email have a timestamp? I mean, does it matter? Probably not. Like, is it material? Probably not. But like, why would you leave off? Why would you not include the actual time? Whatever. I received an email from AT&T informing me the files. Didn't he just say this? Oh my God. I logged into the Global Legal Demand Center portal and downloaded the corresponding files. I completed the warrant receipt. I'm just what is happening? I feel like all these paragraphs are almost identical to each other. Okay, great. This one's different. Now we got T-Mobile. I received 2 emails from T-Mobile. Okay, they said things were ready. Great. Completed the warrant. Okay, wow. Mess is just a mess. Another Mallory, number 46. Good night, Super Planner Girl, Amanda. You know what's pretty cool? So some of you guys have heard me talking about how North Carolina is switching over onto like the e-courts and e-file, and where everyone's still getting that figured out, and it's kind of a mess in some ways, but it's starting to kind of work better in some ways. But what's really cool is today I got to see how like documents that I was like preparing, and then like, you know, like motions or like other filings, whatever, you know, I'm preparing, and I'm just, you know, I'm doing all the things, and then I'm submitting them on the e-filing, right? And then like they're getting approved, and then I can go back and look on the docket, you know, for the case, and there it is, and it's like da-da-da. And I'm like, that, yeah, like I know what that one, like that was the one I did. You know what I mean? It's like, it's because I'm so used to like looking at these dockets, right? And it's like all these things. And it's like, but now it's like I can look at these dockets and be like, yep, I did that one, I did that one, I did that one, I did that one. It's pretty cool. I heard that it got moved to next year. You know, I'm not mad about it because that'll give us time to get caught up on everything. And I'm not surprised. Yeah, none of that surprises me. I didn't think there was any way they're going to be going to trial in October. And the 2 juries things make sense too. Okay. On November 26th, I requested and was granted an amended T-Mobile tower dump to include devices with a 2-mile radius. So this is the expanded geofencing warrant, right? The original one was only 0.5 miles. We've mapped the shit out of this previous live streams. On November 26, 2022, at approximately 20:59 hours, the warrant was served on T-Mobile. These files were downloaded to a computer in the secured computer forensic lab at MPD. An examination of the data will be, again, well, you gotta be kidding me. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. What? The cell phone data from the geofence blows my mind, guys. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent, and all that same as the other ones. Okay. And another Maori. Number 47. Wait, do you usually have a pizza breakfast, Doug? Interesting. Kane says pizza breakfast. That sounds delicious. Yeah, breakfast pizza. I'm trying to picture. So you could have like syrup instead of like, I mean, maybe you have like, I'm just trying to think of like what would a breakfast pizza be? Kind of like, you know, breakfast taco. I think that's the thing. Breakfast pizza. So maybe you do syrup as like with the sauce, right? You do syrup. You could still do like cheese, although I don't know, does cheese and syrup go what? Like, is that weird? I don't know. You could do syrup. I guess you could do jam. We could do multiple ones. Okay, we could do like jam, cheese, and I guess you could do something like a cottage cheese or something like or whatever a breakfast cheese would be, like jam and like cheese and or cream cheese. You can even do cream cheese as a base. I'm actually coming up. So you could do cream cheese as a base. You could do jam as a base. You could do syrup as a base, or you could do a drizzle of syrup on top afterwards. You could do peanut butter as a base. What do you guys think? Like a blintz? I don't know what that is. Hi, James. Welcome. I don't know what that is either from Under Cheese. Eggs and bacon. Yeah, you could do like scrambled eggs, I guess, and bake. Oh, that just seems so messy. I mean, you could do eggs and bacon, but like, is that as conducive like when you slice it, right? So I'm trying to think of like ways that you can make it to where it's like you can slice it and everything won't fall off. If you're gonna do eggs, you know what you would do? If you're gonna do eggs, what you should do is do one of those things where you get a frying pan or whatever that's the same size as the pizza crust or whatever, and then you make like a huge, what do you call it? Like, do you know if you're gonna make an omelet, you like fill the pan and then you like at some point though you like fold it in half. It's like you do that, but instead you just don't fold it in half and you just cook both sides. What would you call that? Is there a name for that? So many of you guys who are new, I'm vegan, but like I've cooked all this shit my whole life for other people, so I'm very familiar. So like I'm just trying to think, you like get a frying pan, you like fill it with the eggs and you just let it cook on each side and you keep it big, right? And then you could use that. You could chuck that on. That would solve the egg thing, so that when you slice it into a pizza, you know, the slices, it would stay put. So then the bacon would be, what is a cinnamon bun cup? Ooh, I don't know. Sounds tasty. Cinnamon bun cup. I don't know. They do have vegan pizza. Pseudo crust. Well, I'm still thinking you can still use the pizza crust, but just put it on top. You know, like to Kane's idea. Like if you wanted to do, like you could do like, what would the base for that be? Maybe jam, maybe like cream cheese. I don't know. You do like a base of that, or you could do the maple syrup base, and then you layer that on the crust, and then you chuck the big egg thing on top. I don't know. And then you put all the other like your shredded cheese or whatever you put on top. You would put that on top of the big egg. Oh, wow. Dog's coming up with recipes over here. Think thin, crispy crust. None of that deep dish nonsense. Topped with fresh mozzarella, a sunny side egg up for that yolky drip, and prosciutto and arugula. Yeah, that I can see that working. The only thing is the sunny side egg up, though. Again, I'm just thinking, see, I'm like really messy when I'm eating, like not on purpose. Like I miss my face half the time when I'm eating. I'm sure that won't surprise any of you guys. Like being accident prone, I think kind of goes along with it, right? So like, I'm just thinking like that's why I keep thinking like to keep it less messy. But yeah, you could do like, I guess you would do maybe like one sunny side egg up like for each slice, right? Maybe that way you're not like cutting into it when you cut the pizza. Hummus is a pizza base. So actually, the first restaurant I worked at when I was like in high school is a pizza place called Bricks, and the reason I worked there is because it was my favorite restaurant to go to because they had vegan pizza even all the way back then, and it was amazing. And they also made their own they had homemade hummus and it's like so good. I can tell you guys more about it. But like, so I would always get the hummus appetizer, which is like 3 different kinds of hummus, and then they take the pita bread and they toast it in the wood fired oven, and it's so good. And then the pizza. So like we ate there a lot as a family, so that's where I worked. But the vegan pizza, well, basically they don't have like a vegan pizza. You can take any pizza that they have and you can customize it, and they don't charge for anything extra. So like you can also create your own. So like sometimes I would do hummus as a base on the pizza. So you're actually spot on with that. You can do hummus as a base. And it was really good. Oh yeah, you're right. You could eat it with a fork. That's a good point. I don't eat eggs, period, James. Oh, there's Twiz. Where have you been, Twiz? So Dale is still thinking about being blackout drunk. I mean, yeah, when you're blackout drunk, my understanding is you don't have a memory. On YouTube. Okay, Twiz. Fine. Makes sense. Not. Yeah, the cauliflower. I haven't had that yet, but that's vegan. You know, pizza crust is like almost like I think almost always vegan unless it's the type that has cheese like stuffed crust or whatever. So you really, when you're dealing with a vegan pizza, you're really just thinking about the cheese. And again, the place that I worked at, like that I was just talking about, has vegan cheese that is so good. Actually, it's really funny. When I worked there, again, this was in high school, there was a pizza there called the Meat Lovers Pizza. It had all the meats. People loved that vegan cheese so much that on a regular basis, people would come in and order the Meat Lovers Pizza and request the vegan cheese instead of real cheese because the vegan cheese was that good. Heather had cauliflower with her dinner tonight. Great. I think it's pretty healthy. I mean, it's not unhealthy. Welcome, Truth Seeker. James, I don't recall if you sent me a picture of your tattoo, but if you send it through Discord, you may have sent it and I haven't seen it because I have not had time to be on Discord. Okay, so we are on number 47. Meowy. On November 13th, I was directed to interview potential witnesses. And when we get to the end of these, I'm going to tell you guys my story about Wednesday at the law firm, and you guys are going to, it might be my best story yet. Okay. I was directed to interview potential witnesses in regards to the accidents at 112 King Road. During this process, I was tasked, oh my God, okay, extracting data from the phones. I received signed consent forms from Maddie, not Maddie. Who would that be? Okay, people. MDA, and I can't tell if that's a C or an O. I was informed by Corporal Payne. F provided verbal consent for her phone to be extracted. The phones were extracted using the following forensic software. Celebrate and Axiom. Shocker. Upon completion of the extractions, the phones were returned to their owner as promptly as possible. The data extracted was saved to a computer located. And there it is again. Oh my God, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with a forensic examination of the phones will be completed at my earliest convenience? Mallory? Nothing is urgent. That's clear. That is very, very clear. Nothing is urgent. Okay, finally, we've got somebody else. We got Morris here. Are these in date order? So these are in the order that they were submitted. So the dates jump around. Because sometimes reports are submitted closer in time to the date that they were of the events that they're describing. Other times they're way after the fact, which I'm not saying they should be, but they are sometimes. So yeah, sometimes I've been saying out loud the date that it's written, but maybe I have not done that every time. But I always say the dates when they're in the actual, if there's dates referenced in the body of the report itself. But I probably should start also saying the date that it was submitted. So like, in other words, This was number 48 because it was next in order. So like they might have started writing it or whatever or not finished it. But like remember, they have to like finish writing it and then they have to submit it for like a review by their boss or whatever. So to finalize it and sign off on it. So like for example, what does this one say? So this says 11:30, but also this is the phones on 11:30. Now this is submitted at 11:30. Sequence number 48 is not 11:30. Well, we'll just make sure that we pay more attention to it as we go along. But yeah, there's been plenty of examples where things are out of order. Okay, so we're looking at the cars here. Narrative. I assisted the FBI with removing the center stacks from Ethan's Ford Explorer and Maddie's Chevy Cruze. One of the center stacks were removed, and I booked them into MPD as evidence. I photographed the serial numbers and attached them to the case. So far, no typos or mistakes or errors in terms of the typing or the grammar or whatever. Unlike with Mallory, okay, short, that's done. Flash is providing a date for something, but I'm not sure what that's a date for. Oh yeah, the temperature dropped here big time today. It's in the 60s here now, which was like, it was like over 100 yesterday. And I think it's going to get even colder tomorrow. But that's because we had all this rain move in. January 12th, 1954. What are you talking about, Flash? January 12th, 1952 is the date the report came out. I'm not sure what report you're talking about, unless you're just making a joke, which is possible. Okay, another Mallory. This is number 49. Yeah, so on November, here's a great example. So on November 18th, right? So this was submitted on December 1st. So the order, the number that they're given, right, in terms of these numbers, like this is number 49, it's auto-generated or auto-populated from the date it's submitted. But then the difficulty is that sometimes whenever they submit it, it could be events, or it could have been, yeah, it could be events from however long ago, right? And as we go along, go further in time, then that gap, the potential for that gap to be wider also increases. So yeah. Good night, Amanda. So yeah, so this was submitted on December 1st, but we're of course he's talking about things that, well, there's a date here of 11/28 and then it's events on November 18th. So I think this is like the date he wrote the report, and then this is when it got actually submitted after it was reviewed by a supervisor. So 3 different dates. On November 18th, 2022, I applied for and was granted warrants for the following iCloud accounts. Okay. I applied for and was granted warrant for the iCloud. Okay, fine. Okay, this is probably, there we go. That's just, it is what it is. Okay, these warrants were served via email, and this is all very redundant here. I mean, they have to say it, like, I'm glad it's here. You're right. But there's not really any point to read all of it. It's just, I received an email, the data is available, I downloaded it and put it in the forensic computer. Okay. And then we have number 50. And with this is the last one of the first batch, as the way that they were organized in the files. So Justin Dean. So here again, we've got submitted December 1st. Okay, on November 29th. So this was actually done in a timely fashion in terms of writing it and submitting it and all that to the proximity of the events. I was asked to pick up 3 cell phones and a hard drive from Detective Chris Rutchert of the Walla Walla, like Waka Waka. Anyway, police department. I met with Detective Rutchert at approximately 11:55 hours and took possession of the 4 items. I drove back to MPD where I handed the items to Detective Mallory at approximately 14:30. And that's it. That's it on this batch, guys. Okay. Let me see what we got for the next where the next batch starts. Sergeant Blaker. Any idea what phones they are referring to? Nope. Well, that's Kaylee. There's that. I mean, yeah, the point being is that it's going to be really heavily redacted unless it's a name that like a victim's name, right? Or Bryan Kohberger's name. Like, here we go. So I was tasked with the following phones. So we know Dylan. So we can know Dylan, Bethany, okay. Then we have that's Jack D, right? We know that. And then Emily, that, and then M-O. So I think we can figure out who all these are except for the bottom name, at least for me anyway. I'm not sure about the bottom name. So for those ones. So the Walla Walla. Wait a second. Yeah, so these ones didn't go through Walla Walla. Okay, so yeah, they could be from Washington. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys my story. All right, I gotta drink some water though. Okay, so Wednesday. Oh, Kane wants a link. Hang on. Here we go. Reading Cambo. Let's see, is he gonna pop on? Gonna pop on. But what I was gonna do is tell you guys my story from Wednesday because it's crazy. But I might hold off on that if Kane's gonna pop on. I bet he's clicking it right meow. Meowy. Aha! Yay! Hello! Reading Cambo.
Is this a purge?
Are we purging? I tried to say it like JJ. I think I did pretty good. Are we purging? How do you do, guys? How do you do?
Greetings, citizens of Earth. How are you, Chelsea?
I'm good. How are you, Jeff Devine? That's so funny. His what did you do today, Kane?
I worked and I worked on my show. I'm doing a really good show on Monday. It's gonna be good.
What's the plan?
It's gonna be a dinner for schmucks, but it'll be a deal for schmucks.
Ah,
and we're gonna look at the deal. And I have the viewer polls. I had a good show last time, and we had technical difficulties, and I had to work. It's because it's back to school. Hi, Twiz.
Yo,
How are you, bro?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to read, so if Kane's reading, I don't have to, so I'm happy.
cool.
why are you anti? Why are you anti the alphabet, Twiz?
It's not that I'm anti-alphabet. I just don't want to hook up my monitor.
So it's laziness. I'm just kidding.
A little bit of laziness for sure. That's not a bad thing.
Well, luckily we have Kane who's picking up the slack for you, Twiz.
Yeah, dude, Kane's the man.
How was the pizza?
It was so good. I made
I was
Publix
like,
ground
pizza?
beef.
What pizza?
What?
Wait, is this why you guys are talking about cauliflower crust? Did Kane make cauliflower pizza?
Dude, there's something wrong with this girl, bro. You don't put syrup on pizza.
No, because Doug was talking about a breakfast pizza.
Yeah, I mean, sausage, bacon,
You gotta use
eggs.
sauce, though.
You're talking about putting cottage cheese on pizza, dude. There's something freaking.
What's wrong with that? Well, I don't know. I'm thinking of cheeses that people might have for breakfast. I said cream cheese too.
Yeah, and that we need to talk. I like cheese, cream cheese icing.
What's wrong with syrup?
I guess if it was a pancake pizza, then maybe
Right,
like
like I said, you have different themes.
I like your creative streak. I'm not against it.
We were coming up with multiple different recipes.
That was on you, actually.
No, Doug had a good recipe.
Doug had some good ideas. Yeah, he's thin crust.
Look at this.
All
See,
right,
guys,
here's what we do. We
Mary
can
says-
make.
Look, Mary says I dip my breakfast pizza in syrup. That's fine. Thank you, Mary. I agree. I think it would be great. There you go.
I'm not against it. I'm not opposed because good maple syrup makes anything good. And you should dip your crust like in ranch or maple syrup if you can. Like, some places have that crust and it's just crust and it's left over.
Mm-hmm.
You need a dipping sauce with that. That's why Little Caesars gives you dipping sauces. No. I'm only aware of all the latest trends because I deliver all this crap to people that actually eat that crap on a daily basis.
That's true. So you do see
It's hard
that.
to believe.
And look, James even echoing it, saying that yes, feta cheese is
Have
good.
you seen Americans?
I do see every day, yeah. I try to stick to the nice areas now, Twiz, though. I'm doing pretty good on that.
Americans are kind of fat, you know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was COVID too, but it reminds me of when that story. My dad used to take me to the circus, and
Wait, this is gonna be good.
one time I was walking by, this lady took up like 3 rows. I mean, he's like, "Oh, she probably has a thyroid thing." I was like, "Dad, look at the fat lady."
Oh my god.
I was like 4 years old. That lady probably she's probably dead. Anyway, so yeah.
Great story, Kane.
Trying to cheer everybody up for am I too loud for you guys?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to cheer you guys up for the weekend here. What's your weekend plans? Are you gonna study cases all weekend with us? I hope so.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, wasn't the lady coming up, the domestic lady that she did everything her lawyers told her to do, and
Yeah,
and
actually, Mittens had to actually reference that. She was asking if my big story was about the T-Rex and the bunny, which great memory on that one, Mittens. So no new developments on that. Although we've been receiving discovery, I haven't gone through it yet. She's sent over though. That lady has sent over everything. She's delivered on everything she said she had. She's got an entire fucking transcript of like a previous proceeding where this dude, the dude who's the big giant T-Rex guy, like did all kinds of stuff. Like, dude, she's turned over like basically like, here's your case for you. Like, here's all the stuff that I have. And like, all of it is just like documents and just, it's great. All the receipts. But my story though is not about that. It's a different story. It's a story about what happened on Wednesday.
It did happen on Wednesday?
My story that I haven't told yet.
Oh, we'll tell your story.
Okay. So here's what happened on Wednesday. All right. So Wednesday was the day that I was going to be getting that new hard drive that I've been talking about, where they're going to replace the hard drive, right? So initially the plan was like, okay, they're going to take the hard drive like Wednesday afternoon, and I was expected they were estimating they would have the new one back by mid-morning the next day. And so the whole thing was like, well, how am I going to do my job? Because it's like, there's my computer, right? Like I don't have, so like.
You can't replace a hard drive in a computer?
No, they are replaced. They did. Yeah, they were going to replace it. But like,
you can't do it yourself, I'm saying.
Oh, well, the IT people, they I don't know what all they do because it seems fancy. Maybe Twiz can speak to this because I don't know. But like what they said the plan was, they were going to take the old hard drive and make a clone of it for whatever reason. I don't know. Make a clone of it. And then if the cloning was going to take the longest is what they said. And then if the clone goes well, then they just have to make sure everything's good. And then they return the new hard drive, which is much bigger and faster and whatever.
Well, that's nice.
And then they put all the stuff back on the new hard drive?
Yeah, so it's basically exactly the goal is that it's exactly like the old one, so that everything's where it should be, but like it actually runs way better and has more space and all that, right?
Makes sense.
Good night, Dale. Thank you.
It's honestly in your best interest to let the IT guys do that kind of stuff. Just make sure you get rid of all your porn and stuff first.
Kane, this is like the law. Okay. So yeah. So
do you want to know what kind of stuff Chelsea watches? Because it puts BK to shame.
Yeah, she likes to choke and stuff, I heard.
Oh my gosh, Chelsea.
Heather.
Well, yeah. Flash says lawyers have IT people. I thought y'all said we do. Like that's why. That's why we have IT people. The IT people that we have, they do the phones, they do the printer, they do the.
They're all fascists, though.
They do all the technology for us, so that we don't have to. And actually, when I say this, the IT people, I didn't know this. The IT people are like literally making sure that we don't fuck things up all day, every day. They're literally for all the entire firm, which is just the three of us. They're like able to view how everything's going and like jump onto our computers basically and like fix stuff and basically correct our mistakes probably. And we wouldn't even know because they just would fix it. So like they're literally helping us not fuck things up basically.
That's a nice thing, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Especially if you can count on them.
Yeah, no, they're great. I call them like every day because there's always something. So anyway, so since Wednesday, so they took the old hard drive, they're making the clone, and I'm like, how am I going to do things because like so like it was like, well, I don't really know. And initially there wasn't a whole lot going on, which was fine. And then all things happened at once. And this was at like probably 3 or 3:30 on Wednesday. Okay, wait, hold on, let me back up. So there was a lady that had called last week. This is actually important. There was a lady that had called last week and was like, I'm going to be arrested. I know I'm going to be arrested, and I'm not going to tell us to how she knew that. She's like, I'm going to be arrested, and I want to go ahead and have everything set up and in place because I will be in custody, and then I won't be able to arrange it. Okay. So, so I knew, so this lady, I put all of her shit in the computer so that when I got that call, oh yeah. Okay. When I got that call, bam. So then so let me back up. So then Wednesday morning, okay, guys, Wednesday morning, I'm not kidding. She calls and she goes, hey, it's happening. And she's literally in the process of being arrested. I heard law enforcement in the background of the call. She's literally like, yeah, I'm being like, can you imagine? Like she's being arrested and I'm the phone call. And then she's like, okay, it's happening. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's do this. It was happening.
She was getting arrested as you were speaking with her on the telephone?
Yes. I was the one phone call as she was getting arrested.
So you didn't have, it was like, you could have just been like, oh, sorry. Get a bad connection. Can you help me back?
I mean, can you imagine? Or even if I'd been on the phone with somebody else, I could have answered it. But like literally, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And so we had everything ready to go. And like, and then one of the attorney who she is representing her, had been in a meeting with a different client. And literally, while I was like on the phone with her, right when I was getting off the phone, he came out of that meeting. He didn't know anything about this situation. So he comes out of this meeting with the other client leaves. I'm like, hey. So here's what's going on. And I filled him in really quick. And he was like, well, I'm going to go. He was like, tell her I can go meet her there. Like I'm gonna go show up there and be there when they bring her in, right? And like
when they're booking her into the jail.
Yep. This is the people I work for. They're amazing, right? Drop everything and be like, and at this point, he hadn't met her. She hadn't actually paid yet.
You can't trust the police. This is America.
I've never thought to have a lawyer. I've never been arrested for anything serious though.
Well, it's honestly, so this is a very serious thing, first of all, what it is.
Yeah.
But also that's a huge courtesy. That's just a courtesy. Like it's a courtesy. So so he goes to show up and meet them, right? And so then she gets released, but then they're coming back to put her back into custody the next day. Like she gets released basically. And there's a whole reason for this. I'm not going to go into it. So like, basically she's there. They wrap up at the police station, like after like an hour and a half, he comes back to the office and she like calls me and says, here's what's going on. And basically she's like, they're going to be putting me into custody at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And it's going to be like permanent, or it's going to be for an extended period of time. So she's like, so I need to come by and pay you today. And, and so basically, and all that matters because I got that phone call late in the afternoon. And so what's happening there? So they come and take the hard drive. So I have no access to my computer. Right. And meanwhile, the phone starts ringing off the hook. And there's a bunch of new clients, but to me, the most priority, right, like the highest level of urgency is this client with her particular situation, because I've got to get her squared away. And legally, an attorney can't really represent you until you've paid them. So and the fee, I'll just go ahead and say the fee was $10,000, and so like I had to get that money from her.
How much?
$10,000.
She had that cash or check?
I'm not going to say.
Interesting. This is sound like a DD.
Cash. She means cash.
So, but she had it. She was prepared for this to a certain extent, so she had it like ready to go. And
it was $1 bills, Ken. You know what she does.
And so,
wait, I gotta hold on, Chelsea. Not to interrupt your story, but I got a question for Twiz.
Yeah.
Twiz, is this chick hot or not?
Who?
The chick getting arrested.
Oh, I don't know.
What's your guess? She's
probably
getting
not
arrested.
My flavor.
She got
probably
cash.
Not my flavor.
Probably not your flavor. Well, is she pretty, hot or not?
I'd say most likely a butterface.
Y'all.
All right, butterface.
Okay.
Was it a butterface?
But she's a great person with a big heart.
I say she was pretty. Yeah, she was a thinker, so she's smart. Maybe she's too smart to be pretty. I'll still go with pretty just to be opposed to Twiz. So was she pretty?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, everybody has their different standard of pretty. I mean,
Chelsea,
I knew she was going to give
quit being a vegan
answers.
and answer the damn question.
I honestly don't know.
Was she pretty or not, Chelsea? Girls judge other girls.
Chelsea, would you do her yes or no? Doable, yes or no?
It depends on who you're asking.
We're asking you.
Would I do her? No, I'm not. I'm not into.
So she's not hot. She's not hot.
No, you guys, this is Heather's just laughing.
Was she hot or not, dude? If she was butt freaking ugly, you can say she was butt freaking. Post her picture on the page. I want her picture up there right now.
Mary says, "Poor Chelsea."
Right now.
Picture of her. Great. Okay, so then, all right. So meanwhile, so all these things are happening, right? And so she takes. So the IT lady comes, takes my hard drive, and I'm like, great. So meanwhile, I have all these stacks of things that are piling up because I'm trying to get them ready to be able to, like, I'm thinking like when my computer comes back, I'm gonna like explode because all of these things can't be finished. All these things are started but not finished, right? And like my job is I start and I finish things. So it's like I have all these piles and I can't really do anything because there's no way to do anything. So anyway, so all this stuff is like piling up. So then what happens though is I get a surprise phone call. Welcome, we have a new girlfriend, young black economist. Welcome, happy to see you.
That's JJ.
Huh?
JJ.
It's JJ?
Yeah, JJ.
As in the JJ that's on Kane
No,
Street?
different JJ.
Oh, different JJ. Okay, different JJ. Hi,
YBE.
JJ. Whatever Clever says she has 10,000 in cash on hand, so that makes her prettier. You know, I will say, whatever payment it was not stapled, nor was it laundered. So, that's a reference from John Adelson for those of you guys who are like, what? Okay, so anywho, so all right, so then I get a surprise phone call at like 4:00 in the afternoon, and you guys don't even, we haven't even gotten to the good part of the story. Y'all are gonna love this. So then I get a surprise phone call. It's the girl from IT, and she's only had the hard drive for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. She's like, hey, guess what? What would you do if you said I could have your computer? If I told you could have your computer back? And I thought she was fucking with me. She was like,
Wait, would you do the IT girl?
oh, shut up, Liz.
Would you though?
No, I don't.
Anyways, go on with your story.
Okay, so she's like, yeah, I'm not, and for real, you can have it back. And I was like, how is it done already? And it was like, it's a miracle. And so I'm like, thank God, because I got all this shit that's like urgent and pressing and da da da. And so she comes over with the hard drive. And she thinks it's all set, okay? And she's about to leave. And then she's like, wait, let me check this one thing. And it's like, she goes, and then I'm like, what? She goes, I'm going to fucking kill them. I'm like, oh my God, what? And she's like, and I knew when she said that, they fucked something up, right? Them being the people back at the IT place. And they had forgotten, or they didn't sync a certain thing. So basically, here's what happens. She takes over my desk. So, because she has to use the phone. So she gets on the phone. So she's usurped my entire station with all my stuff. So I can't even do the non-computer. So she's usurped my station. So basically, I start going out in the other room and using my cell phone to try to call clients and talk to people, because I don't have, like, I'm like, literally, I have no resources except for my brain and my cell phone. So how can I still continue to get work done, right? So meanwhile, okay, so she's trying to fix this, and she doesn't know when she's going to have it done. So shit's hitting the fan. Meanwhile, it's 5:00. What are you guys doing? I'm not doing that. What are y'all doing? Crazy people. Okay, so it's 5:00, and y'all know Twiz is messing around, I think. Y'all know I've been at work. I stay at work.
I don't hear anything.
He's got the ability to change the layout, is what I'm saying.
Oh, the layout?
Yeah, I'm trying to have it show Kane's name.
I tried to do that earlier, and I couldn't get it to do it, so.
Yeah, I've asked her like a million times.
I tried that already.
Can you stop sharing that page?
Okay. Now it's just black. Guys, hope you're enjoying the screen. Thank Twiz for this, guys. Why does he have so much power? Great question. JJ saying they had to pay $3,000 overnight for a lawyer. Yeah,
it used to have layouts that you could just have everyone. What is wrong with this?
Sorry, interrupters. I know, right? Yeah, I mean, $3,000. Yeah, I mean, the clients that we represent, right? It's like 10, 20, 30, 40 is what we're dealing with. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. So I don't know. Twiz has just derailed everything.
Kane, talk.
Hold on.
I put up a dick pic.
Oh my God, you guys. Let me put this back on this. Let me try to fix things.
You know what? You removed layouts. That's the issue. You did something.
Okay, Twiz, fine.
Heather.
Fucking hell. James has started over. I forgot the story. Okay, so right. So basically, where was I? Thanks, Twiz. So okay, yeah. So I was like using my cell phone to make phone. Okay, I was at 5:00. So 5:00 rolls around. Now I've stayed at work. I've never left work at 5. I'm supposed to leave work at 5. Like I've never left work at 5 ever since I started. But this was on top of all this. This was the one day I had to leave at 5. Why? Because my car, my door actuator broke, which is you to open your door.
This piece of shit Priuses.
Shut up! I love my car. It had 2 things go wrong with the back-to-back, which was the battery and then this door, but it's never needed a single thing until then.
Does it ever end with Bryan Kohberger?
Oh my God.
You broke it. I don't know what it's doing.
Twiz is doing things.
I like that one right there.
So I had to leave right at 5. And because my appointment at Toyota was for 5:30. I wasn't even going to make it in time, right? I was not even going to make it in time, but I was like, the best I can do is try to leave on time and maybe get there. So literally And I'm trying to communicate with this client who's about to be arrested the next morning, right? And literally, it was like 4:55. So I'm on my cell phone. I'm talking to this client, the girl, right, who's going to be arrested. And I'm like, okay, here's my only option. And I said to her, I said, I have to leave because I have to go to this car appointment. I'm going to leave and come back because she's still working on the computer and this is a mess. And I literally said to the new client, I was like, can you meet me back here late tonight? Like, can you meet me back here tonight so I can get you squared away with your payment? And she was like, yes, I live right down the road. Just call me and I'll come meet you. And I was like, all right, that's what we're doing. I was like, hey, I said to the IT girl, I was like, hey, I have to leave. You just do what you're doing. Fix this or I'm fucked. Fix this or I'm fucked. And here's how you lock the door when you leave. Okay. So I go to my Toyota appointment. It takes them like an hour or whatever, or an hour and a half. I get there, they got the door fixed. Great, fine. At that point, I'm like, I don't care about the door. I just need to come back and finish all my work from the day that I couldn't do. So anyways, so they do the door, and then I drive back to Winston-Salem, and then meanwhile, Natasha had texted me during the door thing and was like, they're not going to be able to get it fixed tonight. It's going to have to be tomorrow. But then she was like, actually, just kidding. They think they have it fixed. So I was like, okay. She was like, but I had to take the hard drive back. I had to leave the office with the hard drive when I left. So so now she's like, so now you need to let me know when you're going to be here so I can meet you there and install the hard drive. So I'm approaching the law firm and I call the IT girl. I'm like, okay, I'm about to get there. She's like, I don't even know how to get here at night. I'm like, here, let me tell you how to do it. Because you have to have a thing. And anyways, so I get the IT girl, we get in. So I got there at like 8:30 probably. Okay. So I let her in, and this place, there's nobody, the building's empty. It's a 7-story building. It's like pretty much empty, right? Because why would I even be there? So we go in, she installs the hard drive, and then she gets that done at around like probably 9:00-ish or something, maybe 9:30. Okay. And it's working. All right. So then I call the new client and I'm like, okay, get your butt over here so we can get you set up. Okay. So she comes over, we go through the representation agreement, we get the payment, we get her all squared away, situated, answer all her questions and all this, get that taken care of, done. Great. Then I had some other things I had to take care of because there's clients in other time zones where I knew I could still continue on and finish those tasks that I couldn't do because I didn't have a computer. So
is this going somewhere? Wait,
we're about to get to the best part. So at 10:30, I still had a pile of stuff, but I was like, you know what? I think I can go home. Like, I think I'm at a good place. I think I'm at a good stopping point. I was actually considering coming home and streaming. So I was like, I'm at a good stopping point. So it was 10:30. All right. Now, the type of door that we have at the law firm, there's only one door. It's the type that has the lock where you press the button and you press it from the inside, right? So it's a pop in, pop out situation. Okay. And so if you're going to leave, you lock it from the inside by pressing the button, and then it locks behind you, right? Okay. So for whatever reason, this is the only time that I guess because the building was empty, right? I was like, I got to pee real quick before I hit the road. So like literally I was like, I'm going to go. I'm like, I didn't take anything with me. The point is, do you guys see where this is going yet? The only time I've ever walked out of the office without bringing things with me, AKA keys and phone. Keys as in keys to the law firm, right? And phone. I left without anything. I had nothing in my hands. Okay. Only time I've ever done that. I walked out to go pee. I come back and the bathroom is right down the hall. 2 seconds later, the door's locked. It's 10:30 at night. The building is empty. I have no phone. It's a horror movie. Do you guys understand? I was like, my brain broke. Because I was like.
Did you hear Bryan Kohberger's theme song in the background?
I don't know what the theme song is, Twiz.
He was coming for you with a knife or something? Like, did you think something bad was? You said it was a horror movie. Like, was something bad going to happen?
No, it's a horror movie, as in the premise of being locked out of the place, like not a safety horror movie. I wasn't thinking about safety. It's just like a horror movie in terms of like, what do I do, right? Like I can't go home. I can't let my dog out. I can't have dinner. I can't sleep. Like I'm basically stuck here until I start work the next day, right? Like, because I start at 8:30. So it's like I have to just stand here with nothing in the hallway until I start work again. like that type of, like, that's what I was thinking. Right. And it's just like, what do I have nothing, I have no resources. So I started like going up. I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, maybe there's a person. I'm like, then there's not going to be a person. So basically I spent the first 30 minutes, like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I figured there's gotta be like an emergency line. There was nothing. So I'm running out of ideas, right? I tried to go and use the fire phone. There's like a phone that's supposed to like make the fire people show up. That shit didn't work, by the way. I used the phone. No one showed up. And so anyways, so I'm like, and normally there's security guards. I figured there'd be security all night. Like, I figured, my first thought was, oh, the security people, because there's security guards there. And I thought they were 24/7. Turns out they're not. They leave at 10. Had there been a security guard, they could have unlocked it for me, because they all know me. They leave at 10. So I'm like, okay, like, what do I do? And so I'm literally kind of panicking. And then here's what happens, guys. Then I hear the elevator ding, ding, as in somebody's coming down the elevator, because I was on the first floor in the lobby. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a human being here. There's a human being here. There's another human being here. Ding. And I'm watching the elevator come down to the first floor. It's taking forever. I'm like watching the arrow. Ding, ding, ding. And finally the door opens, and there's a dude was not expecting to see another person, because no one else is there working late. And he looks at me, and I hugged him, and I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, what's going on? And I told him.
And then he's the murderer, right? Like, no. You ran right into the trap?
No. So this dude was like, right? That's right, James. I was full on. Yes. I was like, literally the only thing that could have, like, if it wasn't, I'm like, this is the only answer. Otherwise I'm here until I start work at 8:30. And so he's got a phone. He's got a phone. And so we call 911 and, tell them what's going on. And they're like, law enforcement or fire people, they won't come over for that. It's not an emergency. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what? And so the two of us, the period of time, we try all the things. He knows the building owner personally. They're friends from way back. Calls the building owner, doesn't answer. Like, literally, he has all the ideas and resources. He's got the phone there. He's also been in this building for years, knows the owner. Literally, we were running out of options. We were trying everything. Nothing was working. And it was like, what do we do? And he was like, I'm not leaving until you can get your stuff and leave. He's like, I'm not leaving you here. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, you can't do that. I can't do that to you. At this point, it was like almost 11:30. And so literally, you guys, we were like out of fucking ideas. And he was like in the same position I was, because he's like, now I'm stuck here until he's like, I'm stuck here too, basically. Right. So we go up to where the office is. This is the best part, guys. This is the best part. We go up to the office. Remember how I described that lock? Remember, I didn't lock the door. That's the important part. I didn't lock the door. I did not lock the door. So I know in my mind that the door is not fully locked. Like, in other words, something happened where it triggered that thing, that mechanism, but I didn't lock it. I didn't press the button. I didn't lock it. It wasn't like actually locked. It's like half locked in my mind, right? Had I jiggled it a million times? Of course I had, right? So we go up there. He does the same thing. He's jiggling on it. He's pushing on it. And he's like, this is not going anywhere, right? He tries his other keys just to see if he could, like, what? It's not going to unlock, right? We're like doing all this stuff. And then I get down on the floor and I look, because there's like a kind of a gappy thing. And I look at it and I literally said, if we have like a long pokey thing. And he was like, oh, are you thinking you can try to push the, the latch that actually connects to the door frame, right? He's like, are you thinking you can like wedge it open? And he's like, there's no way you could do that. There's not going to be enough leverage. There's nothing that's going to get in there. And and I'm like, I bet I could. And I'm looking at it and I'm like,
that's what she said.
Thank you, Twiz. And I'm like thinking, but I said, by the way that I know how this door works, I said, I think I can do it if I have something. And literally we're like, what do we have? And then he had with him a tumbler like I drink out of, right? With a long straw, with a long stainless steel straw. And he goes, what about my straw? So he gets the straw and I'm sure it was coffee in there, which is what I have as well. He like gets the coffee out of it. He hands me the straw and I get on the floor with this straw, you guys. And I literally and I stick it up there, y'all. And I like
That's what she said.
fucking I press against that thing, pop, the door opens. And like literally I was like crying, and he was like, "Oh my God, we did it. You did it." He was like, "This was all you." Because we were joking initially, because when we first went up there, we were both joking, like neither of us know how to pick locks, clearly. Like we're terrible at this, right? Other people could have anyway, so it popped open, and literally you all don't even know. I was like, because Frodo was here, right? And they're like, dude, that was a moment. And like I don't even know how I could ever thank this dude who stayed here with me. So anyways, it was so funny because when we were leaving the building, I got my stuff, we were leaving the building, and he was like, "Don't worry, tomorrow will be better." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "This was literally the best day of my life." Like the joy, and like I was so ecstatic. I thought I had already kind of started to accept I'm stuck here, right? Anyways, I was like, this is my happiest moment in all my life. You know what I mean? Anyways, I was driving home and I was like, oh my God, this was the most insane fucking thing. So I was at work for like a bazillion hours, right? And then I got stuck there. And then I'm like, oh my God, wait till these attorneys hear about this, right? And in case you're like thinking, oh, the attorneys, why didn't she call them? I didn't know their phone numbers because I don't have their cell phone numbers memorized, and they are on my phone, and my phone was in the office. Did I cry?
You Google their names? Or does it just go to the
it goes to the phone that I would be answering, right? Like the law firm. So they have personal cell phone numbers, right? Which they don't have online, but I have them, but they're in my phone, and my phone was in the office. Having said that, one of the attorneys was in Florida anyway for a federal defense attorney convention thing. By the way, there's going to be stories coming out from that as well, because he said he ran into a bunch of heavy hitters. So get ready for that, right? Heavy hitter. He in other words, these are probably people that we know from YouTube. But anyway, he was in Florida. The other one I'm sure was asleep, but it didn't matter because I didn't have any way to call them anyway. So whatever Clever says, a glorious feeling. I locked myself out of my car, same situation, no keys, no phone. And I thought, yep, felt like you beat that's exactly right. Heather says, Chelsea's I broke into my office story sounds like a weird sex movie, you guys. Oh my God. So that's that story pretty much. I mean, that was pretty crazy. And like literally shit has just been insane ever. Like yesterday and today have been crazy. I mean, it's been, anyway, that's that story. There's other stories, but that's good enough for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the story.
It was a good story.
Thank you, Twiz. Thank you, Twiz. Did you enjoy the story?
What was this? Can you start over? Because I forgot what the fuck you were talking about.
Oh my God. P-Fox says, and scene. Thank you. James is applauding. Thank you.
Do you like my guitar laugh for you?
Great. It's great.
Thank you.
Very good.
I wrote it just for you.
Good night, Mary. Mary's going to end it on that story. Good night, Mary. Thanks for being here. So
we're just getting started.
This first. James, that's really funny. Great question. So whatever Clever's saying, are you concerned it was that easy to break him up? Yes, absolutely was, because I was like thinking to myself, we shouldn't be that. We need to fix this door. So
it sounds like you have like a bedroom.
Door
it sounds like you have like normally? A cheapo bedroom lock on your door.
It is a lot like that. It is a lot like that. That's just
like
the
Twiz.
door.
Okay. No.
It is a lot.
Why
like
can't
that.
you see my name, Twiz?
What do you mean?
That's what I mean, bro. I like that.
Good job, Kane.
Wait, do you normally because you said the door wasn't fully locked, do you fully lock the door normally when you leave?
Yeah, like normally when I leave, you lock the door, but
I know exactly what. It's not a twist and turn lock. It's like a cheapo bedroom door lock.
It's like the push lock. Like, bathrooms often have these locks, right? Where it's like you only lock it from the inside, but you can, obviously the key works on the outside, but it's a push lock.
Oh, those doors are so easy to pop.
Oh my gosh, I could have gotten you in there in a second.
Oh, for
I
God's
used
sake.
to just pop them with my fingernails.
No, okay, but so when you're opening the door from the outside, it's not push lock though. The push lock is only on the inside. So
I know.
if you're on the outside, you can't pop it unless.
Well, I'm sure it's a little different, right? But like you used to just be able to like use your fingernail and rotate it, and then it would just unlock.
I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I did actually try that with my fingernail, but it wasn't enough.
I'm sure yours is a little more sophisticated,
yes,
but that's
the
still
outside
crazy.
portion is more heavy duty. Like the inside part where you push it is like flimsy as fuck, but the outside part with where the key goes is like heavy duty. Probably why this is not a great combo. So yes, I'm going to bring this up and see if we need to do something about this door. Yeah.
Have Xana's dad come fix it for you.
Okay. That's realistic.
He's like 0-1 on that. I wouldn't trust it.
What's in the basement?
So P Fox
Bryan
questions.
Kohberger.
There was word earlier about questions about an appeal. P Fox, are you still driving? But she also seems to.
Yeah, P Fox wants to know if the 42 days counts the weekend or not.
No,
oh yeah, it's a good
not.
question. Yeah, it's business days.
It's not business days, it's court days, which is different, and it depends on the jurisdiction. For example, in as we all know, in Massachusetts, they take longer holidays than everyone else, right? So it's whenever the courts are closed for whatever the state decides. So if it's a holiday or a weekend and the court is like closed, those don't count. So it would be basically Monday through Friday, unless there's some day where the courts are closed in Idaho. Apart from that, or there's a holiday for I don't think
because they're hoes.
Yeah, exactly. So good question. Good question, P Fox. Good.
I'm surprised by that. I thought it would have counted the weekends.
Mm-mm.
So now we really have to calculate it out. He doesn't have to appeal to like September or something now. That's wild.
What is dot? What is this dot that you guys are talking about?
Dot is dot, Chelsea. Dot
Thanks.
is dot.
She's like a pimple, from what I understand.
Okay.
Dot is this person who came out and said that she had some inside information. Like she saw people standing behind 1122 the day of the murders, but like before the cops were found, right? Well, it turns out that she's like telling somebody else's story or something. Like the whole thing's crazy, but some of her information was actually correct. So it's just interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. Well, not everything is.
Dot is Justin. Dustin is Dot.
Heather says, I promise you'll be fine if you never hear any of this. Thanks, Heather. Thanks. When are you going to go back to being Heather, by the way?
No, never. She's changing her real name to Lucy Morningstar.
So, guys, we are on number 51. And we've got Brett Payne.
Brett Payne.
Let's see. Is any of this worth? Let's see here.
Like Donna Chang, Brett Payne.
Wait, is that what was found in his house, or is this in the house? Fingerprint lifts. They actually found fingerprints.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was in an earlier.
It was probably their own dick imprints.
They said there were fingerprints on like the window and then like the sliding door. They said that in the earlier reports.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And I even said, oh, well, did they lift them? And this answers the question. They did lift them, apparently. Cell phone, laptop, knife sheath. Oh, knife sheath. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
White blanket, blue phone, vape pen, steak knife. That's Hunter's, dude. The Hunter knife, laptop,
cover knife,
latex gloves. I'm allergic to latex. Anyone else here allergic to latex?
That's what she said.
That's why you're a vegan.
Uh-huh.
What? What does that have to do with latex?
I'll explain it to you later.
Okay. Game bags. Game bags. What does that mean?
That's what I was wondering.
Game bags.
What bags? Oh, gamer bags.
Here, let me make these big. Make this
like
bigger.
for Balderdash. Can I tell my balderdash story now?
Oh, God. Balderdash? Wait, what?
Yeah, I have a balderdash story.
Kane's going to tell us balderdash. Let me finish this document and then we'll do the balderdash story.
Fine.
You're welcome, P. Fox. You're welcome. Okay, game bags.
It's an ex-girlfriend story.
Okay, let's just get through one document and then we'll do the ex-girlfriend story. Okay. By the way, for anyone who missed it, we learned last live stream about Kane's daughter. I have it timestamped, so for anyone who missed it, highly recommend. Okay, so at approximately 1600 hours, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1120 King Road. Hey, Kane, can you do me a favor and not play guitar while I'm reading? Because
you have to read the documents.
Make
to the
Kane
beat
read.
of,
I thought that's why Kane was here.
Yeah, I'll do it right.
Okay, go for it. We're on upon our arrival.
Approximately 1600 hours. No, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road to assist with scene security processing upon arrival of the ISP. Forensic team was on scene and was preparing to processing the scene. Oh, can you scroll down, please, dear? You can give me more, yeah. I read fast. OFC Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. OFC Smith and I entered 1122 King through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Upon entering, I observed a small bedroom on the west side of the bottom floor. The floor was ajar, and I could see a bed with covers and several other miscellaneous personal items strewn about.
I have a question. Wait, was it a door or was it ajar? The door was ajar. Wait, which is it? Get it?
The room did not appear to have occupied by anyone, as I did not see any clothes inside. I followed Officer Smith down the hall where there was a small bathroom. Next to the small bathroom to the east was what I later learned a utility closet. This closet had a pin code style lock and was
Why
secured.
The fuck would a utility closet have a pin code lock? Crazy shit. Go on.
I can explain that.
Sweet.
Why? Because the drugs are behind it?
So what that makes me think of is like, okay, so Kane, what this makes me think of is like whenever we would go to the Outer Banks every summer, we would rent these houses that were owned by individual people. It's sort of like Airbnb, but it was before that or not that. Anyways, also another example to this, which I'm going to explain, is like in certain places I've lived, like apartment complexes. So basically, my point is this: that in these houses, right, where people would come and stay, they all had this type of shit. And here's why. In those closets, they would keep things that were to be utilized only by the owners of the house or for the cleaning people. So, for example, they would have like a vacuum in there.
Yeah, but that is nothing like that situation in that house.
But here's why I'm saying it is because if you got if the lease turnover is a lot because it's whatever, how many bedrooms, 6 bedrooms or whatever. And
yeah, but they only sign year leases. So they're not turning over a lot.
I mean, college kids break their leases all the time, you know? I mean,
Kaylee, that's true, but again, it's just not a lot.
The rest weren't, right? Apparently. So, I mean, that to me does not seem unusual, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I think that's between what's more likely, these kids having that installed, you know, how they would be fined for that, right? They would be like having that installed so they could have this room with that type of lock. If that lock wasn't already there, like that would be a big problem. You know what I mean? Like for starters. Is that what people are thinking, that they had that installed? And like,
no, I think that the drugs were kept in there.
But it seems like the reason people are like, okay, is the thing that makes it seem suspicious the fact that there's pin code style lock? Like
on a utility closet.
But you're
like
saying
the utility closet could be a room where you could walk in. Like it's not necessarily like just like a closet.
Okay, but my point is this though.
My point is that's where the drugs were held.
Hold on. If they moved there and there was already that lock was already there, right? Does that change anything?
So the thing is that house gets handed down each year, or like when people want to move out from Greek people to Greek people.
Right.
If the Greeks are dealing drugs, then yeah, that already had a PIN code on that door when they moved in, but that's because that's where the drugs are.
And so you think the owners of the house...
I'm not saying that anyone is involved. I'm just saying that's where they kept the drugs.
I have so many thoughts and questions, but I'm not gonna. Okay, so
and yes, the owner could be involved because it's President Green, but that's neither here nor there. I think that's just where the drugs were kept.
Wait, he owned the house before the murder?
Yes.
I thought okay. So I don't know. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Oh, regarding those 3 phones, 1 hard drive. Oh, thank you. Check the maps, la la. So, I mean, I don't know that it really matters. Like, those, that could be anybody, right? It could have just been his neighbors. It doesn't, you know, I guess they didn't know who he was yet at the time, right? I mean, that when they did the phone extractions. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything too material there. You know, at that point in time, they're just going to, any device that they can, they're going to try to, you know, get shit off of it, right? And the other thing is this. It could have been that the lab that had whatever they needed to use was in Walla Walla, and the other ones were maybe they were preoccupied.
That's my thought, but I think
it doesn't mean
just logically that they would have had something in Spokane, which is like half the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know.
Like,
it's just weird to me because Spokane is bigger.
You know, where was that car? The car that was found. Where was that again? Oregon?
Eugene,
right?
Oregon.
Okay, never mind. Well, maybe it'll become more clear as we go along, right? Maybe there'll be some other details that we can be like, oh, maybe that's a connection to Walla Walla. But and I appreciate you looking that up as well. Whatever, clever. So right, that's kind of what I was reiterating, right? Whatever clever saying, maybe the landlord used that closet and doesn't want to access by the residents. That's what I was getting at, and you just said that in a much more succinct way. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That's literally was my thought when Kane read that. That was my thought because I've been in countless places like that have a similar thing. So, okay, let's see here. So, okay, so Kane was reading, and where were we, Kane? Kane, I was commenting on that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to comment on real quick, too. So this is Kaylee's room. So in terms of getting a feel for the state of the room, right? There was a bed with covers and several other miscellaneous personal items strewn about. Didn't seem to be occupied by anyone. Okay, all right, cool. Kane, you want to keep reading? I think we were right here where if you can see the highlighting part. I think that's where we left off.
Can you hear me?
Is this the purge?
Purge?
The purge?
Where did I leave off?
Where it's highlighted.
Okay, so the lock was secured, and I looked into the bedroom on the east end of the bottom floor, which I later learned belonged to Bethany Funky. The room had normal clothes and personal items about, but otherwise did not seem out of the ordinary. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. The stairs ended in a small living room. There was a sectional style couch along the east and south wall of the room. There was a small TV in a void on the northeast corner of the room. I also saw they didn't have a giant TV like Jeff Devine. I also saw a black backpack on the floor just east of the top of the stairs. Officer Smith then directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned was Xander Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's. laying on the floor. Kernodle was laying on her back with her feet facing the east and her head facing the west. Ugh.
Is that symbolism?
Kernodle had thong type underwear on and a gray sweatshirt. There was a large amount of blood on the floor and around Kernodle as well. But Dylan thought she was passed out in a large pool of blood and all around.
Yeah.
And she came out of that house crying because her roommates were drunk. Yeah, both of them. I could see numerous wounds on Kernodle's arms, hands, and face, which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Just next to Kernodle, on the west wall of a small white nightstand, which appeared to have been moved as it was pushed against the wall at an odd angle.
Ooh, that's interesting.
There was blood on this nightstand in various locations.
I need to highlight that. That's interesting. That's a new detail to me.
That is a new detail.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Because here's what this gets me thinking of, right? What happened to this nightstand? Because it could have been, like, did it get, like, if it's pushed against the wall at an odd angle, that's probably not, like, if you think about somebody accidentally, inadvertently knocking it in a struggle, it would probably tip over, right? Think about it, right? If you got a nightstand and it's like, there's like tussling going on, and then like you inadvertently lean on it or bump, you get it, it would knock over. So for it to be pushed against the wall, that to me gives the impression that somebody was pushing it and trying to use it for something. Was it to maybe try to block the door? Was it to maybe try, like, in other words, it was like a intentional thing. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on that one, Kane or Twiz?
I don't know.
I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, items on top would be knocked over. Another great point. Yeah, this seems like it was an intentional decision, which again, the other thing that's interesting about that is that they had one of them, Xana or Ethan, probably Xana, had time to do that, right? Was that done maybe before the stabs happened to them? I don't know. It's just interesting. I like a detail like this. If this had gone to trial, guys, right? A detail like this could actually make a big difference in trying to figure out the order of events and the timeline, regardless of who the defendant is, right? In terms of just like what happened. And as we know, so we've broken this down in other cases, sometimes even just like second by second, if one thing changes in the order, it changes the trajectory of an entire thing, right? So like this is actually, I think, a really important detail. And while there's obviously not a trial, we can still try to keep this in mind. That's why I highlighted it, and see how that might, how that fits into other information that we will continue to learn. So, but I do appreciate that. That's very astute there. Whatever clever saying items, yeah, exactly. Items on top would be knocked over. Yeah, exactly.
What did you call her?
Whatever clever.
I thought you called her astute or something.
I said it was an astute observation.
The bed in Kernodle's room was situated on the south wall of the bedroom, with the head of the bed appearing to be towards the west wall. I could see a male, later identified as Ethan, laying on his back in the bed with some type of blanket pulled over his midsection. Chapin's body was at an angle on the bed, so that his head was up against the south wall and his feet were hanging off. The bed on the north side. I could not clearly see the wounds to Chapin's head and neck area, but could see a very large amount of blood on the bed, as well as what appeared to be blood spatter on the wall next to Chapin's head and neck. I also noticed two large cuts to the back of Chapin's legs. There it is.
Yeah, that is what. Hold on, let's pause for a moment here. So this we had heard. Okay, so for me personally, right? Because I hadn't read this yet. This came out. Somewhere was reporting on this, right? Like we'd heard this. I forget where that was, but that was recently. But it was like and to me, I'm like, well, I'll believe it when I read it. Like I'll believe it when there's some more to back it up. So this is the first time I've actually seen this. Here we go.
The wounds
Well, let me say something though. So the way that it was reported, do you guys remember how was it reported? Because my recollection is it was like his legs were carved, like as if it was gonna make a message. Is that what you guys heard? That's what I heard.
It was said they were carved, but what does that mean? It was
said they were carved, but also it was said they were just sliced from top to bottom, so they couldn't.
I didn't hear that part. Yeah, I didn't hear that part. Because I just wanted to note that 2 large cuts is very different to me than carving. Carving to me seems like there's a purpose, like you're trying to
get a slice.
Kane.
Well, here's another interesting thing with this, because they call it hamstringing, right? And somebody was saying that with the cartels, they will hamstring the dude and torture the chick in front of him. And she's the one with 50 wounds. And
okay, so yeah. But they were mostly defensive wounds. If any of you guys who were there for our coverage of Ezra McCandless.
Okay, but what does that mean? How do they know they're defensive wounds? Just because she has cuts on her fingers doesn't mean that they're defensive wounds. Maybe she was being tortured.
I was gonna say, if you'd let me finish, that anyone.
No, you can't finish.
And you weren't there, Twiz, by the way, for the Ezra McCandless coverage that we did, because again, if this had gone to trial, they would have gone through and explained each of those wounds individually. And they did this. They do this in other trials where there's knives involved, and they did this in the Ezra McCandless trial. And so I forget how many wounds did what's his name, Alex, have? I think it was like 38 or something, right? They went through each of those wounds and explained if it was defensive or if it was not. And the way that they can tell is not just the location. It's the angle, it's the depth, and it's like the proximity to other wounds. So by going through, and we went through, and we went through and they went through each wound, and it literally tells the story of what happened to that person. And honestly, the more wounds, the more you can do that with. And so when they say mostly defensive, it doesn't, I understand people, oh, you put your hands up, you've cut, whatever. It's not just that, right? It goes a lot more than that, because it goes to like, was this an intentional stab from the person with the knife in their hand, like an overt act, right? And where they're the one making a stabbing action. Like, even if you just imagine that somebody just bumps into a knife, that doesn't count as like an overt act of someone stabbing them, right? If you think about just the mechanism of it, you can tell because of the force amount, for example. That's another great point. It would be easy to tell if like wounds were post-mortem as well. So, but also, again, I've talked about it a million times that the state's timeline is a complete mess. But if you look at the window of time, which was what, max 7 minutes, we talked about this last time too, it's the amount of time to do the whole thing is impossible anyway, let alone to torture anybody. It's just not, but if you think, okay, maybe there's an entire alternate timeline, then sure, that's possible. So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay.
Because you can't really torture someone in like 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not saying Bryan tortured them. I'm just saying that perhaps maybe she was tortured.
By Ethan?
I think there's a good chance of that.
Young Black JJ is saying, why do you think the cartel? So this question is probably for you, Twiz. The cartel.
Well, again, I'm not saying the cartels are involved. What I'm saying is somebody was talking about how the cartels will hamstring a dude and torture the chick in front of him. And
like that movie,
appears to be a possibility to what happened in that room that night. That's all I'm saying.
I will say, Twiz, you've brought up cartels before, though, on other live streams, just saying.
Again, I'm not saying that they were involved. I'm not saying that they were not involved. It's just interesting.
It's like that movie with Kathy Bates when she hobbled James Cagney or whatever. What was that movie called? Hobbling. She breaks his ankles, so he can't walk, and he has to write his book in her bedroom.
What?
What's the name of that movie, Twiz?
Misery, they're saying in the chat.
Misery, thank you, yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of that movie.
Cartel would never leave a survivor. I mean, that makes logical sense. There's a lot. There's the list of reasons for me personally why the cartel thing makes it. We would be here for a very, 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 very long time. So I'm not even gonna bother. No offense to anyone. I mean, I'm just saying, for me personally, we have a new scroll from Peaches81. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in. Some of you guys are echoing kind of my thoughts. It's just, I don't, but anything is possible. Yeah. Never thought I'd be on a boat. That's the best I can say as far as the coach. You can drive a Lexus to the moon, right? Sure, why not?
Here's the thing about who did it, because there was no investigation. They cleared people before they even questioned them or
100%.
searched their rooms.
Yes.
And that tells you everything you need to know right there. Just you have to go with your gut on it, and you can't listen to what they tell you. We cleared that guy. He's cool. We had 94 spots of blood in his room that you didn't send to IG. Why didn't those go to IGG?
I don't know anything about that, so I can't weigh in on that yet. I haven't even gotten to that document yet. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say too, like, things like as far as the autopsies go, this is one thing where, like, for example, I was like thinking, well, could they be lying about the large cuts? Well, no, because I guess they could be, but like there would have been autopsy photos presented at trial, right? I mean, so in other words, can we rely on the fact that they're saying that there were 2 large cuts to the back of Ethan's legs? Now, for those of you guys who think that there's some sort of plan all along that it was never going to go to trial, I guess you could say that law enforcement, when they're writing this, is assuming no one's going to ever see the legs.
Here's an interesting insight that we hadn't noticed yet about this. Ethan was laying on his back. The cuts were to the back of his legs, so those were facing downward. So either that he had to be rolled over, or they had to reach underneath and cut him, or he had his legs up towards the ceiling and they cut him like that.
Or he was cut first and then he rolled over afterwards and then he died. Right?
Right. That was the first one I said.
Okay, sorry.
Or he was killed on Linda Lane and they carried him in. Just saying.
Yeah, if you listen to Linda Lane, I think you can get the whole picture.
I saw it in a reflection, I swear.
The wounds appeared to be deep into the tissue, but were difficult to see. So it says for his position, right? It says that he was at an angle. His head was up against the wall, and his feet were hanging off the bed.
So obviously he wasn't sleeping that way with his head up against the wall.
No, like I would imagine he probably got up off the bed, right? And then got stabbed. And then
I imagine though also that he's taller than the bed is long. That he has
fucking weird. I'm not imagining people getting stabbed.
Wait,
weirdo.
What are you doing here then?
I'm
just kidding.
Are you thinking that he's what's this with the bed being too small? Hold on. What?
Go home.
The bed is not long enough? What? Kane?
He's 6'4", and it's little Xana's bed in a little tiny room. He probably had to kind of curl up and lay on his side to sleep.
It's probably true because like full size beds are only 6
Twiz
feet
knows
long.
what I'm talking about. He's tall. Like most beds are too short for tall people. What is so funny, you little chipmunk?
They're so funny.
She's like 5'2". She's never understood this
It
problem.
reminds me of in the deep dive for Murdoch when we went to the Sunrise Detox and there was the tiny bed. You guys remember the tiny bed? And I was like, what's that tiny bed doing? It's like that. That's what Kane's describing. Oh my God, the tiny bed.
Like, I've even had beds too short for me, and I'm only 5'7".
Hold on. Let me see if I can find that. You've had... What type of beds are you sleeping in, Kane?
I get around.
I didn't say whose bed. Okay.
I had a hospital bed for a while.
At your house?
That was too short. It was like a full, not a twin, but a full. Yeah, it was at my house.
A hospital bed?
Yeah, it was like adjustable bed. Mm-hmm.
Did you have a...
I mean, you couldn't see that it was that because they had the blanket over it.
Were you hurt?
No, it was like whoever lived there before us, and they just never moved it.
Okay.
They probably died in it.
Oh, God. Okay. The thing is this, you guys. The thing is this.
The thing is this. Here, if he was laying on his back, and as they say he was sleeping, it would have been incredibly difficult to cut the back of his legs.
Well, he definitely was not sleeping.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right. Definitely this entire document and every other one combined are all a crock of horse shit.
Oh, I was like, did Chelsea just get kicked again?
Heather's saying, Kane, did you bang anyone in that bed?
I had some good bangs in that bed.
I couldn't not. We have to see the tiny
I didn't
bed.
adjust it, though, so I never thought to do that. I'm surprised I didn't.
Okay, so we're just watching this for the tiny bed part because it's hilarious, and this is what I pictured. When Kane started saying that, this is what I pictured, so let's just look like you're at rehab, right? This is me. This is... So what we're watching is a video.
Maybe it did have a remote.
But this was a video that I made.
Yeah, it did have a remote. I'm sorry, it had a big ass remote. It was like a paddle.
Who did you who got paddled with it? It's okay if it's you. We're here.
I never thought of that either, Twiz. Where were you when I needed you? It was a huge room though. It was 14 by 12. 14 by 12.
Huge room, tiny bed. Got it.
It was a big room.
So this video is a video that I made when we were doing Murdoch.
I slept on the couch, so I didn't sleep on the bed.
When you hear me talking, I recorded this as a video to use in a live stream. So anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get to the tiny bed part because it's really fucking funny. You guys will see what I mean here in just a second.
We've seen this before.
Not everybody has, Kane. Oh, that's nice.
Well, I have. That's all about it.
That's interesting. Here we go. Is this in case you have a child? Hold on. Oh my God, I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. Huh. That's interesting. Is this in case you have a child with you? What? This isn't rehab, right? This is where Alex Murdoch went. This is the Sunrise Detox. Look at the tiny bed, though. Kane, is this what you were talking about? The tiny bed?
That's a tiny bed, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a little bigger than a tiny bed, even. It looks like it's more of a pillow on a coffee table, really.
Isn't it? Like
somebody put the couch cushion on top of the coffee table while they were vacuuming or something.
I mean, if I'm in that room, if they randomly put people, are you like pulling straws for who has that bed versus?
Honestly, it looks like a bench seat. You know how you have like the little window nook?
Yes.
And then you have the bench seat?
There's an Office reference for that. The episode, the dinner party episode. You guys know who I'm talking about? Season 4, episode. I don't remember which episode.
Of what?
The Office, the TV show. There's
Dunder Mifflin?
Yeah, yes, that. There's the dinner party episode, which is legendary, right? And they have everybody over for Jan and Michael are dating, and they have that house, right? And they have everyone over for dinner.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
There's the part where they go upstairs, and they're all commenting on the bed, and there's a little one of those things that you're talking about.
That's where they broke up, right? They broke up during that party.
They did. Well, they got back together after, but yes, they did break up because she threw a Dundee as TV and broke it. But anyway, there's a part, they have one of those little things where it's like a bench with a cushion. And there's a joke, the part where Michael's like, that's where I sleep. And everyone's like, you sleep on that? And he's like, yeah, see, I just curl up and it fits perfectly. And then Jan looks all psycho and she goes, see, fits perfectly. It's really fucking funny. Hopefully you guys have seen it. But that's what this is like, 100%. So there you go. Hi, Victorine. Welcome.
Victorini.
Welcome to anyone else who's just now getting here. So
she was listening.
And also I saw Tanel here. Welcome, Tanel. Happy to see you. That's right.
Ray?
The little
She's
wall
in New Zealand.
That's right. Yes. That's it. And the part where he's like, look, I can take the TV, and he goes, look, I can press it against the wall if you need more space. And it's like,
you want to talk about really weird spaces? You know those tiny houses that they make?
Yeah.
Well, me and Twiz were looking at one to rent for when I was going to go to the trial. And they had a couch facing the wall of the door right when you walked in. And there was a TV over the door. And it was like this 13-inch TV. That was the TV for the whole place. Like you couldn't see it even from any angle because your back was facing it when you're in the kitchen, and then it was like watching the movie in the first row. You know, if you're trying to watch it on the couch.
Oh my god, I know what you're saying. Please tell me you saved a link so you can share pictures of that, and we can.
I do have that. Actually, I could save a picture right now.
We need to see this. This sounds hilarious. I totally can see how that somebody who has one of those tiny houses and wants to try to like use it for like an Airbnb would do something like that.
They do all kinds of weird stuff in those tiny houses.
I bet.
I don't know what they get into in there.
Twiz, what do you think they get into in there?
Little things.
That's what she said.
Let's just look. Here it is.
Where do you have it? There's Meg.
Kane just left us.
Hey Meg, question. The video with the tiny hot tub, what was that called? That you shared, we watched a long time ago with the tiny hot tub for the little person. You know what I'm talking about. Is the waterfall in the tiny hot tub? What are you doing, Twiz? Oh, Kane got kicked out? Kane! Hi, Too Fast. Welcome. Oh, that's interesting. Chanel says she stayed in a shipping container conversion. Interesting. Well, by having, you do maximize the space, right? By having it just be like a contain, like I'm just trying to picture versus like angles, you know what I mean? Like if it's all like one, you know what I'm saying? Maximize your space by not having corners and whatnot, perhaps. I don't know.
Dude, I would love to live in a tiny house.
Well, like Kane said, little things go on. You said that. You said it yourself. It's for little things. So, I
could just get a little tiny house and move to Cascade, Idaho because it was so cool.
There he is. Kane's back.
I clicked myself out.
Kane, you've made a habit of that.
You did it to yourself. That's what she saed.
Well, if I don't do it,
Chipmunk, you're half pretty. $10 more will make you full pretty.
That stuffed beaver, that dude. We had so much fun laughing about that last night. Oh, Too Fast. Also, thank you so much for the super chat. Tell me.
They made a new Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen.
What is any of that? What are those? What's
Naked Gun was where Leslie Nielsen is looking up Priscilla Presley's skirt when she's on a ladder, and he goes, "Nice beaver," and she goes, "Thanks, I just had it stuffed," and she's holding a taxidermy beaver.
Oh,
it's a really stupid joke, but it's so legendary. It's epic.
Thank you, Meg. Okay,
Meg's is here.
So Kane. So for those of you guys who missed it, this came up last time, this hot tub video. So Kane, while I'm trying to figure out how to find Discord, because it's been so long since I've used it. Hold on, where the fuck is it? Do I have it? Okay, I'll have to search for it. Will you tell everybody, please, what your recollection was of this hot tub and how you would describe it?
It was at the top of some kind of outdoor caged-in elevator or something, or a patio maybe, and it was a black 2-person hot tub. Not for black people, but it was like the hot tub itself was black, and it said it was a 2-person hot tub, and I mean it looked literally like a drain hole.
Okay, so Meg, what he's describing, is he describing the same video that you just sent me? Or did you?
Oh yeah, Meg was in on that.
Was there another hot tub video that he's referencing that I don't know of? Because I'm hoping they're the same, because this is going to be really hilarious when I pull the video up if they're the same. The video is hilarious anyway, but it's especially hilarious if he's trying to describe this video. Good night, Victorine.
Wait, you're leaving already?
Okay. All right. Excellent. Meg said it's the same. I had a feeling. Okay.
Oh yeah,
so
Japan and Hong Kong definitely.
So
they just have like a little tubes.
Hi, Happy Annie. Let's reiterate what Kane is saying. So that there's a caged elevator. You get off the elevator and there's a 2-person hot tub, and it's black and it's rubber and it looks like a pothole. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Discord's installing updates, so I'll get through this here when
I've actually seen bigger potholes.
Okay. Okay, it's opening. Okay, you guys, wait till you see this. This is amazing. You guys are gonna love it. This is so worth. This is honestly, for those who are going to bed, you might want to stick around for about 2 more minutes, and it'll be worth it. I promise.
Don't go.
Okay, so. Oh my God. Okay, so Meg just sent it. I knew she would. Meg, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Because I literally, last live stream, I actually tried to go find it just by doing Google searches, and I couldn't find the same video. And I was like, we'll have to ask Meg next time. Okay, awesome. Here we go. I'm pulling it up. Get ready.
Meg is busy with getting her kids ready for school again, I'll bet. That seems where everybody's money's going right now. It's not going to me.
Money's going to what now?
September.
Oh, Etsy?
Her kids are going back to school. She has 3 kids, I think.
2.
Meg P.
They're twins. 2.
I thought she had 3 kids.
2.
Okay, sorry.
Unless you're saying I'm one of her kids, which would also be true.
Heather
or
is
Lucy.
one of her kids.
Lucy's Meg P's
Hang on,
child,
guys,
right?
sorry.
She said she was going to take me back to school shopping. But she never did. I want to go to Kohl's.
You're going to finally go back to school?
I want to go to Kohl's. I do want to go back to school. I'm going to take computer stuff. For animation, to do animation.
You picked the wrong time because just use AI, bro.
It's not as good as me.
True enough.
Okay, guys, get ready. Hang on.
We're ready.
Hold on, wait, I'm not ready. Chelsea, were you wearing the dress in your avatar when you jumped through your window of your car? When you did the Dukes of Hazzard?
What?
You said you had to jump through the window of your car because the deactivator was deactivated. I was just wondering if you're wearing the dress that I'm looking at, the big red dress.
No, I you're halfway there with the door. No,
red dress and combat boots.
Okay, so that's right. Twiz remembers. Good job, Twiz. Remembering the combat boots. Crucial.
I remember combat boots. Did you have red laces on your combat boots?
No, I had whatever laces they came with. Okay, I'm finding the part with the hot tub. Get ready, guys. I've got the video. I'm just not showing it yet until I find the right spot so that we can all be very surprised.
Do you want me to play music in the meantime?
I think I'm actually there. Hold on. Okay.
I'll sing.
Go for it.
Who am I to disagree? There it is. That's it. The grotto, and then they have a 2-person hot tub.
All right. So let's for one last time. Kane describes the hot tub as black, rubber, and smaller than some potholes that he's seen. You guys ready?
Look, growing up in Southern California, one of the things I always wanted to see was the Playboy Mansion Grotto. You can have that right here in Texas. We're going to go check that out as well. But let's go walk over. Follow me into the 2-bedroom guest house, and we're going to go check that out. Let's go take a look. Whoa!
I love that part.
Almost fell into the pool.
That's a great part.
Did you see that?
He almost falls in. Okay, hold on. Maybe we need to go forward a little bit. But you guys, y'all. He's going in there. Hold on. It's after the grotto. Okay. There it is. There it is. You guys.
Oh, it's not black. Why do I remember it? That's not the one.
That's exactly why I've been making. That's why I have said this is exactly why I asked.
Maybe that is it.
If it's the same video. Okay, watch. The way
unbelievable environment to hang out in the summertime. I'm a sucker for the finer details in
Here it is. So So it was funny enough
Yeah.
before because
You
it's
can't
so
even
tiny,
put your legs out on that one.
right? But it's not
What if it's a grower, not a shower? You guys are assholes.
You know what though? I've seen fish ponds bigger than that.
Bro, the
Yeah.
ocean is bigger than
That's
that.
like a wishing well. It looks a wishing well.
Its waterfall is bigger than Jeff's tiny waterfall. We'll give it that.
House.
You guys are so
check this out.
judgmental.
You got the hot
I don't even feel comfortable here.
Wait, he actually says it's a
Yeah,
hot
who am
tub.
I to
Sorry.
judge this house?
Hold
This is a
on, I
nice
forgot
house.
he calls it a hot tub.
I'm a sucker for the finer details in a house. And you guys check this out. You got the hot tub here. You got a water.
What? Okay, I'm tiny. I'm like 88 pounds soaking wet, 5'4". This is like when you think about how thick that bottom layer of stone is. This is probably deep enough for like not even my ankle. You guys.
Fall into a rock pathway that goes all the way into the pool. I just think that is very, very cool. And now let's go check out this area over here with
Wait,
the
why
tennis
would you
court for
drain
all
the
of you
hot
tennis fans.
water
By the way,
out
as
of
we
a
said
hot
earlier,
tub into the pool unless you're trying to heat the pool? That's a waste of the hot water.
I add it to the list of mysteries surrounding this hot tub.
That's so dumb, and they did it twice.
Yeah, not even. And also, welcome. I didn't get to say hi to you yet, Miss Mojo. So happy to see you again. What if it's like 3 feet deep? Then this dude would have to be a giant, like 12 feet tall. If this dude is like 12 feet tall, then maybe.
Oy.
At least he didn't say it was a water slide. Okay, let's hold on. I have an idea. I have a fun idea. Okay, you guys. Well, okay, Jeff, as in of Jeff and Shalia. If this was Jeff's quote unquote hot tub, how do you guys think Jeff would be describing this?
A cavernous.
He would twist it into somehow like Bryan doing it. I don't know.
No, not Jeff. You're not listening.
I'm just
Jeff
fucking with you.
Divine.
Not Jeff H. Wrong Jeff. Ugh.
Twiz
Not
has
that
got.
Jeff.
Twiz, you need to watch that movie Freaks.
Why?
Because it was good. It'll take your mind off the case.
That's a good point.
It's
too, Pat.
stressful.
However, you can actually
It's free
see the
on
bottom
YouTube.
of it. Check it out. So that's a good point from Too Fast, but you can see the bottom of it. Can you all see my mouse right there by his knee? You can see the bottom of it. So
That's the seat.
I appreciate the benefit of the doubt, but you can actually see the water line is even below the rim. And then you can see that little part there. That's the bottom of it. So we're talking about this, Jeff. Now that Twiz is... We're talking about...
Your buddy Jeff?
This Jeff. The one on the slide. That's the
Jeff.
Jeff. What would that Jeff say about this hot tub if it was his hot tub? How would he be describing this based on the tiny waterfall?
I don't know, but that could be like a 1980s poster. That Shalia and Jeff picture. Like for a band. Like if they were a killer band, I'd have that on my wall.
I mean, is it Jeff that makes you want to have that, or is it Shalia? Which one's winning you?
It's
over
just
on
the
that one?
picture. It's a fantastic picture. It says a lot. It's taken by a professional.
Thank you, Too Fast. This is what I was looking for. Jeff would say it was Olympic size. Thank you, Too Fast. 1,000,000 squirrel points for you. That's what I was looking for. Yes, yes. And you know what else he would say? He would give a number of how many children you could fit in it as well, but also Olympic sized.
Children they could boil. And oh, did you see the lady?
Right there.
She
How
made
would
a
you know
whole-
how many kids could fit in there when they ate them all already?
They
Will you
counted
eat your
before they ate them.
children?
Yeah, JJ, we've been doing twin flames for a long time. I discovered it when I was deep diving Lori Vallow, and I have a whole playlist.
Okay, you need to stop saying JJ because I keep twitching my neck, seeing if he's in the chat.
JJ is in the chat.
I don't think he's
He
ever
is?
been here.
There can be more than one JJ, dude. This isn't Highlander.
Can be only one.
You have to boil the kids first. That's a great point, P Fox. Thank you for that.
Can I tell my story about the old lady?
Is this the Balderdash story? Because I realized I forgot to follow back up on that one.
Oh, the Balderdash story's good.
Let's do that one.
No, but the first there was an old lady who lived in a shoe. No, she took she put a loaf of bread in her mailbox, and she had one of those brick mailboxes, and it baked the loaf of bread today.
Oh,
in
that's
20
hilarious.
minutes.
That's hilarious.
Well, it's hilarious because people spend $3,000 on bread makers, and you can just put it in your mailbox and leave a little treat for the mailman.
A little treat for the mailman. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I don't think they're LDS, but they are every other type of thing. And yeah, I need to make sure I've got everything on the playlist because I think that we've done. I don't think I have everything on there, but
I'll bet you there.
We have gone way deeper than other people. Like we're actually making our way through everything on their YouTube channel, which reminds me, we need to do another Twin Flames. Maybe we'll do Twin Flames tomorrow.
You really can't label their religion because Jeff says that he is just the second coming.
Right. Great point. It's their own religion. They made it up. And to that end, they invented their church, right?
Well, let's be honest. He jumped the gun a little bit early because we haven't had the rapture yet. So how are we going to have the second coming before the rapture? You can't have that.
I also have to say that the second coming has a whole new context with Shalia saying, "I'm banging the Christ," doesn't it?
You're going to hell, Chelsea.
I mean, you guys have already thought of that, I'm sure. I'm like, have we said that before? I'm like, if we haven't, how have we not said that before? But like, obviously. So, okay, Balderdash.
Oh, the Balderdash story, really? I'll tell it another day. Okay. I already told my bread story.
The bread story was good. I mean, there's nothing fresh bread. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstory and a lot of side. It's an Idaho related story, actually Colorado mostly.
Well, I'll make a note for next time Balderdash story.
Okay, yeah. Pencil that in for my next read.
I've got it penciled in. Got it.
And I'll need some hula burgers in my account after this read, by the way.
Hulu or what are these hula burgers?
Hula burger was the suggestion by Ray Kroc for Lent when you give up meat. So when Catholics would, instead of getting a hamburger, they could get a hula burger, which is a piece of sliced pineapple on a bun. That's a hula burger.
That's funny.
And instead they did the filet of fish, obviously.
That's funny. Oh, interesting.
Which is a good sandwich. The filet of fish still remains a pretty delicious, tasty treat.
Does it now? Hey, by the way, what's the status on your frozen lemonade? Are you still doing the frozen lemonade over there?
Frozen lemonade is like gone 3 days ago. I can't afford to buy Minute Maid every day. But once in a while, it's a little treat.
You drink a whole one a day?
But why don't you buy like a big one?
I did. That was a half gallon, and I keep a gallon of windshield wiper fluid and orange drink on hand. And I'll keep one in the freezer usually and one out. And by the time the one that in the freezer thaws, it's time to drink it.
Wait, windshield wiper fluid in the freezer. I'm just
it's blue drink. It's actually called Sonic Ocean Blue or something like that from Sonic.
I just wanted to make sure you're not drinking windshield wiper fluid.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I might be. I drank battery acid once. Is that bad? I actually did spray bug spray in my mouth. Raid bug spray. I sprayed it in my mouth.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that though.
I was being careful, but I was on a ladder. And,
did the bugs fly out, or what happened?
No, I didn't get them. They're still back there. I can hear them crawling around.
Oh my god!
The worms crawling. The worms crawl out. The worms play pinochle in my snout.
Oh boy!
You know that old nursery rhyme?
No.
From your uncle's ranch?
What? Uncle?
The old Tale from the Sea.
Like a sea shanty?
It's from what movie was that, Twiz?
What happened?
Oh, Meet the Fockers. When he met the serial killer, and the serial killer was telling him about how he's going to beat the 7-minute ab guy by doing 6-minute abs. 6-minute abs. Yeah, nobody remembers that one. Anyway.
No.
I remember that being in a movie, but I couldn't tell you which movie it was.
It was in Meet the Fockers.
Okay. Well, this was a fun detour. So now back to the document. Yay! We scrolled.
All right.
We scrolled appropriately.
We got
guys.
through the hard stuff. I
This
guess.
was,
I hope.
This was a classic scroll tangent. As always, guys, everything's always timestamped. I always timestamp everything. So every time we switch categories, even within a tangent, it'll be timestamped. Okay. So mittens. So Officer Smith then took me through the house and pointed out Dylan's bedroom, which was wait, did we read this one? No, we didn't. Actually, Kane, did you want to still read or do you want me to read?
I want to read.
Okay. So we're on this paragraph.
Officer Smith then took me through the house and pointed out Dylan Mortensen's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast side of the second floor of the house. Mortensen's bedroom door opened to the kitchen area, as well as the staircase, which led to the third story of the house. Upon my brief visual inspection, Mortensen's room was disheveled, but did not appear to have any blood or evidence of a struggle within. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs. What?
I said, so she's a slob. I'm kidding. I mean, yeah. Anyways, just making a joke.
How dare you, sir? I followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee's room. This room appeared neat and picked up. The only thing of note was the sheets on the bed were pulled back in a manner which suggested someone had been laid in the bed and then gotten out of. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom.
Pause. This is interesting. And this is, hold on, let me see.
I'm not a VCR, Chelsea. I'm not a DVD player.
You are 100%. No, this is interesting. The only thing of note was the sheets in the bed were pulled back in a manner which suggested someone had been laying in the bed and then gotten out of it.
That's a new detail, actually.
Question. It is. And let me ask you guys, but what else could that be? Because I'm like thinking, how did he just assume this? What else could this be? I'm going to highlight it. I want you guys to think about it. What else could this be? I have
Schindler's List.
No.
Plot
I want to
time?
see if you guys are thinking what I'm also thinking of what else it could be. Because
Murphy could have done it.
that sounds cute, but no, that's
A
not.
ghost.
Hunter
Annabelle
Johnson and Emily were doing it in there.
That's where they summoned Satan.
Great guesses. I love the creativity. Here's
Bryan Kohberger took a nap in between victims.
Nailed it. She was selling the furniture on Craigslist,
Thanks,
and
Heather.
somebody had to test out the bed.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks for that. So
Well, how is it staged? There's no blood in the room.
I was trying to put this one up. The effect.
Well, staging is a word they use to when they show houses for sale, and they'll decorate it, and they call
That's
the
true.
items that they put up staging.
That is true.
So that's
Like
another
they put
angle
the
of the same word.
fake fruit in the bowl. Yes.
Right,
You're
yes.
That's a great point.
Mhm.
That's a great point.
Good call, Lucy, the dark one.
So here's what I was thinking, though. What else it could be? It could also be if the bed was made and somebody went in there expecting there to be a person in the bed, and it was dark, so they couldn't see, and they pulled the covers back, and there was nobody there because they were in a different room. Just saying. That's what I was.
That's a good idea too.
That is what that is what I thought of.
Except we've seen pictures of what her blankets look like afterwards, and it's not
where are those pictures? I haven't seen them. Where are those?
On the internet. Hello.
Okay, so I'm not gonna. Okay, whatever.
What pictures have we seen?
Yeah, who knows? It's not come out. They haven't released pictures from the evidence.
No, listen, those pictures came out super early on because it's people from outside the house taking pictures in. Like, we can see her TV was on, but it said like not connected to the internet or some shit. Like, there's a bunch of stuff we've seen in that house.
Well,
that's true.
This doesn't even say anything about blankets. It says sheets. The sheets on the bed were pulled back.
Yeah, but it's coming from a dumb guy cop.
And that's true.
A blanket is a sheet to him.
That's true. But I think that the fact that they've noted it, it's, I don't know. If you picture a bed that's made and then you and then somebody is like pulling the sheets back, whether you're already in it or whether the bed was made and no one was in it. That is just interesting. It could be either way, right? That's sort of what I was thinking.
That makes sense.
Heather says her bed was still made. Well,
that's what I was going to say. Whatever, clever.
Surprised me. I mean, you know, I don't know. The other thing is this. It's clear that they were the families, and that includes Steve, were never really given any actual information. We all know that, right? Like, it's clear. So anything that they said all along, you know that it could have come from their imagination or anywhere. But what it didn't come from was the evidence. So, yeah. And I believe it's a statement he made. Y'all know I've ignored him all along, right? There's a reason for that. I don't know. I've never.
Can I make an observation about the families of the victims?
Sure.
I'll just say on one end, you have the Chapins who released a statement after they didn't attend the victim shaming thing. And that all they did was thank their lives for all the blessings that they had and the time that they had with Ethan and all the privileges that they have in life, that they've been so successful and everything. As opposed to the other family that is, well, let's just say the Chapins were very classy in their reaction, in my opinion. And then you have the opposite spectrum.
Well, but the other thing, and I saw that statement. The other thing is, did you guys notice what they said? The other thing the Chapin said, they said we can't, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to the extent of, we can't thank the prosecution enough because they constantly kept us in the loop. They constantly, do you guys remember? They were like saying how they were included, they were kept informed. That
one of the things they said was they took time away from their own families to work hard on this case.
And to basically what they articulated in terms of how they felt like they were treated from the government is the complete opposite of what the Gonsalveses have said. Like, literally the complete opposite. Like, they can't, like, it's just either they're not both true or they treated the families differently. So, but yeah, I'm with you. That statement from the Chapins was very moving to me because, like, one of the things that I noticed about it was that they the whole time they had empathy, like they were having sympathy and empathy for people who were struggling. Like, in other words, they were like, we're here for you, right? Like, they were like, how, Kane, can you say it better than I'm saying it? Because I'm not.
They were more cordial.
They were more cordial.
And they were grateful.
Grateful.
I think you could have told them anything and they wouldn't have cared.
As opposed, yeah, it didn't matter. It happened. They've learned to deal with it, forgive, and move on. And they showed grace.
Grace, that's right. 100%. 100%. Yep. I couldn't agree more. And I'm glad you brought it up because I would have forgotten to comment on that. And I mean, at the time when that statement came out, that might have been that same crazy Wednesday, right? Because I think I was thinking, oh, I should pull that up when I go live. And then I didn't go live because I was stranded in the building. So
this is what makes me suspicious of people that have to go out of their way to show you, tell you, and prove to you that there's something, like being a Christian.
Yeah.
Where some people just, they live that life and that's how they do things.
Yeah.
I mean, of course they had the same thoughts, but they didn't come out in public and show that side. They chose the higher road, which gives me a great deal of respect for the change.
100%. I mean, they've handled the way that they've been throughout the entirety of this case has been completely different. But that statement from them was literally like you couldn't have made a better, like, it was in every way the most gracious, like you said, Kane, statement you could expect from a victim's, like, literally just, I'm like, these are some like quality humans, in my opinion, you know, to make. Yeah, there was no rage or, no vengeance, and there was also no judgment. And they were thinking of, like, a lot of their statement was the concern about others. Like, they commented on, like, the trauma of other people from having to deal with this case, right? Versus like we're victims. Like, it's clear they do not view themselves as like being victimized, right? Like, they're concerned about other people. I don't know. It's for me, it's just like, those are people that I think are setting a really great example of what I would want to strive for if I was in that position. But it's not easy, right?
It's not easy. It's the hardest one to do.
Exactly.
And in one of the interviews, I believe
Thank you,
that
guys.
Olivia conceded that, or Steve, but he said, I'm not there yet. So it's a lot to work through either way. I feel like it's compounded by this bullshit that they've been spoon feeding him for so long, making him feel like he was getting all this highly classified info when it added up to nothing.
So Too Fast has this is interesting. Okay, I'm glad you said this. So Too Fast says, I always thought that an impact statement would be how something impacted your life. Let's talk real quick about how victim impact statements usually are used. So normally, let's just say it's a death penalty case that goes to trial, okay? Okay, here's what happens. Remember, we know it's bifurcated, right? All right. You guys remember back in the day when we talked about your statutory aggravators? Do you guys remember statutory aggravators versus non-statutory aggravators? Okay. Your statutory aggravators is the state would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at least one of their statutory aggravators, right? And those are the ones, in this case, it was the multiple victims, future dangerousness, the hack, which is the heinous, and the utter disregard. They have to, but then after the statutory aggravators, remember, the rules of evidence don't apply in the sentencing phase, okay? After the statutory aggravators, then they have the non-statutory aggravators. What are those? Literally, what that is victim impact statements. So, to Too Fast's point, normally the reason why victim impact statements exist, technically, like where they came about, was for the purpose of providing, technically, it's like testimony, if you will, that is meant to influence the jury in deciding the death penalty or not deciding the death penalty. So after they hear the statutory aggravating factors, then they hear victim impact statements. And in that setting, right, where it's like we're in trial, right, the point would be, if you're giving a victim, you're trying to give a statement that would convince the jury to sentence someone to death, basically, right? That would be the point. However, I've seen it plenty of times where they don't do that because they don't want that to happen. So, in other words, so it becomes, there's almost like there's a lot of reasons why it's problematic, which we've talked about, so I won't really fully go into, but it's extremely problematic. But if it's not a death penalty case, then but it's in a sentencing proceeding. Great example is Ezra McCandless, right? So they had a whole 2 day. They had 2 days for her sentencing, and this was not a death penalty case. 2 full days for her sentencing. The victim impact statements all 2 full days of that. Okay, and both sides had victim impact statements. So they're literally meant to, in that case, persuade the judge, right? The judge to give either a longer sentence or a shorter sentence based on the victim impact statements. Okay. So for example,
it's not just yell at the perpetrator day.
No, it's not.
I see.
And so it has an actual function. And I mean, whether the function's appropriate or not is a completely different conversation that, again, we've had before on this channel.
Well, it's just like the grand jury thing. The grand jury was something they came up with for the defendant to be able to get a fair trial. And somehow over the years, it became a way to clap people in the clink.
Right. Yes.
Quickly.
Yeah, right.
Without
right.
any evidence.
And so basically, here's what was really funny. Well, not funny. I don't know the right word. Interesting about the Ezra McCandless sentencing, again, 2 full days, was you had people from the victim's side of the family. Some of them were up there like, give her the max, give her life, da-da-da. Then you had plenty of people. In fact, the victim's father, I think it was, got up there and said, so the judge had a range there of like 10 to life, if I recall, okay? 10 to life. And so if I recall correctly, the victim's father was like, I forgive her and I believe she's a good person at heart, and I'm asking for 10 years. And there were other people as well. So you had, on the victim side, you had people going both sides. Give her 10 years, give her life. Then you had on her side of the family, she had like 12 or 14 people come and make victim impact statements for their perspective on how much they've lost from her being in custody. Like her sister, the loss and that they've had because she's been in custody, even just standing trial, let alone, I think they kind of thought she was going to be acquitted. But anyway, it was like her mom got up on the stand and like cried and cried and cried about her loss. And so, I mean, it's a weird, you see why it's interesting, right? Because then the purpose being initially is like, oh, the judge is supposed to consider this in a sentence when it shouldn't even really be admissible in the first place. So all that to say, to Too Fast point, that's the initial role of victim impact statements. It is how they're impacted, right? But
it's a last minute sway to lengthen the sentence.
Right, or ask for it to be shortened in some, like I said, in some cases, depending on what. But as there's been more victims' rights have expanded, even when it does serve the role of being a quote unquote victim impact statement in terms of in a trial proceeding, it has expanded to where now it's like, well, the victim's right, and I'm not, the victim's rights to speak and say what they want. So there's that, but that again changes it from the original. Okay, and then the role is also different when the sentence is already basically decided, for example, in a plea deal, right? And then following that, if you've got a family like Ethan's family that comes out and makes a statement after the proceeding, it's technically not a victim impact statement at all in any sense of the definition. By all the different definitions and all the different ways it functions, it's actually not even that, because it wasn't even made at the sentencing proceeding. But again, even if it's made at the sentencing proceeding, it can't influence the sentence. So it's really just for the victims and not to impact the sentence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent.
I respectfully decline to comment.
Whatever Clever says, the crime is being prosecuted by the state, not the victim. So the victim, 100%. You guys, we've talked a lot about this. A lot of you guys probably weren't here, but I have a lot of thoughts, and we talked about it a lot during Ezra's sentencing, really. Like, I took that and put it into a whole thing of like, what is the point of these? How can we do it the right way for everybody? What would be the best things for the victims and for the defense? Like we considered all of the things, and like, what is the best way this should happen? And anyway, it was very interesting. And I mean, the thing is like, when it's actually during a sentencing proceeding, like for example, in the Ezra trial, you guys, here's the same one I just mentioned, right? Where it took 2 full days. The defense objected probably 30, 40 times during the victims for the prosecution. Because here's the thing, technically, if the sentence isn't decided, right, because it's during sentencing, the defendant still has rights. So in other words, the victims are also limited. So basically, by victims' impact statements happening while they're still affecting a trial proceeding, it's bad for like literally everybody, including the victims, because they had, and we saw a little bit of it, but it wasn't implemented in the same way. Like for example, with Lori Vallow, with Bryan Kohberger, like there's certain rules they have to adhere to, but they didn't really. But those were enforced during Ezra's because it really was her defense attorneys kept objecting because she still had rights there, right? And it was things like they couldn't talk to her as an example. It was like they have to address the court and not the victim. And they weren't even being the way that they were with Bryan Kohberger. It wasn't even like that. It wasn't even anything like blah, blah, blah. It was just like, they would just be like, Ezra, you da-da-da. And even if it wasn't anything negative, it was like, you can't address her, you have to address the court, stuff like that. Like all kinds, like the objections were constant. Okay.
During the victim impact statement?
Yes.
That's wild.
So that's why so like for a lot of reasons, there's so many reasons why being able to make statements after the sentencing, to me, is the best thing for everybody involved, like the way the Chapins did it, because they could put out a statement on their own terms that doesn't have to follow any rules. They could have said whatever they want, but they did what was best for them. And like that serves an actual purpose, and it doesn't have a negative impact on the trial proceeding. And it also doesn't have a negative impact on them because of their limitations and whatnot. So, those are just some thoughts. on the topic.
Well, you kind of brought it back around full circle for me, because what I was going to say is previously the Chapins had spoken out against this system and said, that they don't think it's about the victims. Here, I think they completely ignored the procedure, going to the court,
right?
Addressing. They never mentioned the defendant. They never addressed the defendant. Never even addressed the crime.
Right.
They just thanked.
It's true.
And so it's silence is louder than words. But I think it had less than an intended effect. I don't think they expected it to have any weight on any of the proceedings. I think
exactly. Yep.
But I think at the same time they got their message across.
I totally agree with you, Kane, 100%. I agree with everything you said. I thought the same thing too. Like the fact that but they weren't doing it out of like hatred. They were doing like it.
Well, I think that Lucy actually put it best when she said it was passive aggressive, because I can see Miss Chapin, Stacey Chapin, being a little bit in that way. And they did say we rewrote it 50 times. We didn't know what to do. Well, and so,
the whole family, right? And they probably all have their different, stages that they're in. Sure. But also, Too Fast says, I wish they would have let Twiz give an impact statement on how the case affected him. That's freaking hilarious.
He should have shouted out from the back of the court, Twiz.
I'm just sorry. I'm just reading. Yes, right. And that's exactly right. And Young Black Economist is referencing here like that the judge. So in a situation like that, like the one again describing the Ezra McCandless, the thing is that really the judges should be going off of the sentencing guidelines and not be persuaded in a situation where it's a sentencing proceeding and the judge, there's no sentence yet. The judges really aren't even supposed to be considering the victim impact statements anyway. They should be going off of the sentencing guidelines. So it really, the whole thing is just, I don't know. It's wild.
I think some of the guidelines that they've implemented as mandatory, especially what they started with California with 3 strikes and you're out. I think they're ridiculous. It should be by they should be able to trust the judges enough to be able to handle dishing out sentences per case.
Well, and that's the thing. In federal courts, like for you guys who heard me my story about when I went to the federal sentencing a couple weeks ago, that was an incredible experience because the federal sentencing guidelines are like basically anything. Even for the witness, the one for that juror, what was it? They spoke about the jury and like the charge there, the sentencing guidelines is 0 to life, like literally anything. And but for any other of these other charges, like that's pretty much it. Like it could be like 0 to 50 or 10 to life or whatever. Like there's a huge range. And that's exactly to your point, Kane, because the judges, it's expected that the judges will have enough knowledge and can be trusted to say, okay, here's the range. But now with the facts of this case and this specific, circumstance, what is the appropriate sentence? And again, what was so interesting to me at the sentencing that I went to was the entire thing was not about punishment. You guys would have, I was like almost in tears because I was like, this is exactly how it should be. It was not about punishment. It was not about retribution. It was all about what is going to serve an actual purpose. Like literally, there was the vast majority of the sentencing considerations were about rehabilitation. And I know that that's like a lofty goal and we're never going to have that. However, when you compare what I heard to what we see in these state trials, It is unbelievable, the difference. It was not about punishment. It was not about vengeance. It was not about winning from the government. It was not about winning. The government, and every single person that I saw that day, including the client that we were representing, the government also was agreeing with the defense that of the range, they should get the lesser portion. They weren't just trying to give him the max. It wasn't like that at all. It was like, we think this range is appropriate. And it was like reasonable. And there was no emotion involved. It was no emotion involved. It was just, let's look at what, there's these different programs that are available. When would they be? I don't know. It was really, really incredible. And I talked a lot about it on that other live stream in more detail, but like what you're saying, Kane, what you're describing reminds me of like what I witnessed. So I just wanted to note that it is possible. And I did get to see that. And, but that is not what we have in state courts at all. So yes. Yeah. The 3 strikes you're out thing, they had that for South Carolina for the financial crimes, as we know, because Murdoch. Yeah, but mandatory minimum sentences, right? And the fixed sentencing is, it is, I don't know where that comes from, right?
Well, not only that, they've gone to this extreme with the laws, like the stand your ground and these blanket laws that they think they can just throw a couple paragraphs at any situation and it's going to be solved. It's insane to think that. And it shows that they can't trust their courtrooms to do a bare minimum or whatever, I guess. But a lot of those things have curtailed crime, like that 3 strikes and you're out thing. That scared a lot of people, because there was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was the first time they really put their foot down when there was a lot of tough crime happening. And they said that, okay, if you want to continue to be a career criminal and, these people are coming in and out of the system, there's going to be a one-way door sooner or later.
Right.
And it made a big difference, I think.
I just have to say on this note, I watched, or I was listening to it while I was driving because I made multiple trips the other day to Winston. There's a video, you guys, I would recommend. I'm glad I'm thinking of it. Everyone should watch this. It's so good. So Fitz News, I don't care what whatever. There's an interview with this guy, okay, who was sentenced to life in prison. It was like multiple life sentences plus 90 years or something like that, okay? This dude was never supposed to leave prison. Well, he's not in prison anymore. And in fact, I think they're making like a movie about him. This dude, here's the thing. I think everybody needs to watch this. And it's not for the interview because the questions are like, basically, Will Folks doesn't do a whole lot of talking, which is great. This dude just tells his story. But when you guys hear his perspective on things and how he got through, it is, I will tell you, I had like, what's the right way to put it? Like, epiphany after epiphany, if you will, if you can describe it that way, listening to him. When I feel like I've considered all the different ways of what you would do when you're, I don't know, like he put things in a perspective that I'm like, oh my God, how is that I've never, like, that is a different perspective and a different approach and a different way of, like, it was like mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. This dude is like, it will make you emotional in a good way. I think it is absolutely fucking incredible. So I would highly recommend everybody watch that. And if you guys want, I can go try to find it and put the link in the chat if y'all want to watch it. But like, it is incredibly inspiring and not in a cheesy way at all. This dude is like, got it. He's got it. He's totally what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? He has total insight as to what's the word I'm looking for?
Zen.
He's that, yes, Zen. But like, you know how there's people who are like, they don't know themselves, they don't have like self. What is the word I'm looking for? Self.
Neutrality, impartiality.
No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Like when you can reflect on your own self and be honest with yourself about who you are. That thing. What is the word I'm looking for?
Humble.
Well, he is humble, but that's not the word. Yeah. I'll think of it when I'm not trying to think of it. But like, in other words, he has the total ability to like be honest to himself and about himself and all of his flaws. And anyway, it is really great. Insight. Yeah. Insight. Thank you. Also, welcome, David. Yeah. Insight. Like, you know how there's some people that don't have the ability to assess themselves from an objective perspective, like self-awareness. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for, Meg. Yeah, the self-awareness. Yes, the self-awareness and the self-understanding of like, literally, he's like, yeah, here, like, this is the bullshit, right? Like he doesn't. It's really great. I think you guys would really enjoy watching it and learn a lot from it. I actually would like to listen again to it.
Is there any squirrels in it?
There's no squirrels, I don't think, but man, it was really great. And it's like a very different perspective in terms of like how to survive prison. Like his mentality is it's one of a kind. It is really incredible. So, what did Tanel say first here, Meg? Let me see here. Oh, awareness. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry I missed that. Thank you, Tanel. That's it. Yes, thank you. You did get it first. Thank you. It was self-awareness. Yep. Self-awareness and very introspective. And like, if I had to put it this way, there's some people who I feel like are old souls. Like they've lived all their lifetimes to have the wealth of knowledge that they have and like insight to humanity. And he's one of those dudes. So, okay, I think Kane has muted himself. So shall I keep reading, Kane? Oh, right. We had left off with the bed. Okay, so Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. The bathroom shared a wall with Maddie's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. So I entered this bedroom. I could see two females in a single bed. Right. So because they're beside the room. Okay, now I'm getting a lay of land. Right. Okay. As I entered this bed, I could see two females in a single bed in the room. The bed was situated along the north wall of the bedroom, and both females, later identified as Maddie and Kaylee, were laying on their backs with their heads toward the east and their feet towards the west, which was also the direction of the only door into the room. Both Maddie and Kaylee had numerous visible stab wounds that were covered in a significant amount of blood. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Maddie's right side when viewed from the door. I remained in the room for a moment and then proceeded back outside. I remained on scene and conducted several more walkthroughs of the scene with ISP forensic team, the Latah County coroner, and Latah County prosecutor. Upon the receipt of the search warrant prepared by Nunez, the ISP forensic team led by Gilbertson processed the scene and collected an initial 56 pieces of evidence. The ISP team turned those items over to me that evening. I transported them to MPD temporary evidence storage. Was it a lolliport? Please say it was not a lolliport. No, I'm sure. By the way, for anyone who's newer here, the lolliport is what we call the Sallyport because it's a lolliport. On the morning of 11/14, I booked the items into MPD evidence with the help of the evidence custodian. Yeah, things like the 3 strikes law. Yeah, that comes from the legislature. I'm just reading what you're saying in the chat there. Yeah, that comes from the legislature. Yeah, that comes from the legislature. So, those are people who are voted in, right? For each state's government, they're the ones who write the rules for the state. The rules. They write the laws and can change the laws. Okay, that was number 51. What's on number 52? Oh, I don't even have it open. 52. Let's see.
And they're above the laws in a lot of ways, especially when you look at the stock market stuff. Like the typical House representative makes, I think, about $140,000 a year, and you look at the difference between somebody in the private sector that makes $140,000 a year, and the difference between somebody that's in the Senate or the House that makes $140,000 a year that lives in a big ass mansion. They got a yacht. They got the country club. Somebody who's in the private sector, they could barely afford a jet ski, and they live in a tiny house. You know, it's like.
Wait, is it a tiny house with a TV in a really awkward place above the door?
Oh,
there it is.
It's getting that bad. Man.
Full circle.
It's going to be interesting in two respects as time goes by, because we all know that pretty much Gen Z, at least, and I think below, could care less whether they leave their parents' house. They don't drive their own cars.
That's
a lot
true.
of them are just moving into tiny sheds in the back of their parents' houses. It'll be interesting to see when that is the larger portion of the workforce. And then also, as well, in Japan, and I believe China also a little bit, is the younger generation is no longer getting married or having babies or even having any kind of intimate contact. They do it all through the web, electronically.
Yeah.
So changes be a coming, I think.
Times they are changing.
Little boxes.
What?
Little boxes. You want me to keep reading?
Little boxes? Oh, wait, what? Where is what are you saying about little boxes?
That was a Bob Dylan song or one of those
Little
people.
boxes? I don't remember that one.
You never. It was a final exam for one of my English classes in high school. I had a lot of old hippie teachers. One of my final exams was the movie Breakfast Club. We had to describe what we felt the movie was about and what the character. And what it turns out with Breakfast Club is each character in the Breakfast Club represents a different part of the, what do you call it, the psyche, the id, the ego, the superego. You know, like Judd Nelson would be the superego. Yeah.
I was thinking of Jeff and Shalia of the superego. Anyways.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah, right. And then when you said Judd, I was like, wait, are you meaning Judd Welcher? Another one.
Judd who?
Judd Welcher from Karen Reed, the expert with the blue paint. Anyways.
Do you remember Judd Nelson? He used to be in Taxi. He was also in that movie Independence Day.
I haven't seen any of that.
You haven't seen Independence Day?
No, I haven't seen a lot of the normal movies that everyone's seen. I haven't seen most.
Anyway, Judd Nelson is like a New York Jew, you know, and he plays what's his name's dad? What's his name?
I don't know.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you.
A random Twiz.
And everything is he's like super Jew. That's what somebody called him the other day, because he's like, why should my David not get credit for this? It's like he's reading right out of the Torah when he's in this movie.
This sounds like it could be funny if I knew what he was talking about.
It could be humorous.
So Meg was saying something about the Othram. So I thought about that, Meg. Meg had said that she could ask Bob, speaking of which, Derp Durble, if we could play some of that and see if he'd be okay with it. I mean, I feel like that's a big ask, but you're welcome to ask if you want. And if you guys are down, I'm totally down. People were talking about the Othram interview that they had on Defense Diaries, and I didn't watch it because I listened as one does when one never has the time to sit down and watch things, which is I'm in that category. So I listened to it while driving and probably working at the law firm as per usual, right? But anyway, how
can you hear with all the parts falling off of your car?
What a Kane.
Does it even have windows anymore?
It does have windows. I've never had any problems with the windows.
It's easy.
Well, we were talking about car windows and fixing the glass the other night. I only remember because I was finishing timestamps, and I got to the part where you were saying you had a glass that was only $25 to fix, and then you talked about getting a car window fixed, and that's what made me think of it. Anyways, and you said it would be only $10 if you have the frame, and I was like, wow, that's cheap glass.
Yeah, you can actually take it to your local True Value hardware.
Yep,
and they handle it for you. You just take the frame out.
Right, frame. So.
With the frame.
So my brain connected it anyway. So I thought the Othram interview was very good. I'm curious what you guys thought in the chat. If those of you guys, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was exceptional.
The Othram interview?
Yeah, I thought it was exceptional.
Oh,
I was like, wow, this is like a bazillion times even better than I thought it could be. Like, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. It was like I was like, this wasn't like especially great. So, yeah.
Who was the interview with? Oh, with the owner of Othram.
The founder.
Yeah, okay, I did see that.
It was really good.
Well, they have a very close relationship with the federal government, and what they're doing now is they're weeding out the competition, and they're expanding. So that is they've taken on sort of what I would call a AI. They become self-aware, like Skynet. Now they have a corporate agenda. It's not just helping people find their roots. It's now we need to, how do we grow this franchise and expand our brand? And they're guarding their relationship with the FBI and the federal government very closely.
And I believe he talks about that, doesn't he, Megan? Those of you guys who saw it, he does discuss that. I felt like my impression was like that he was not deceptive or anything like that. Like, I felt like he was very forthcoming of things. But some of you guys seem to have also seen it. I'm curious what you guys thought.
It's just the impartiality of the federal government choosing one private corporation over others. And It's like one hand washes the other.
Right.
You take care of us and keep it on the DL. We'll take care of you and give you the exclusive contracts.
I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, 100%. I think part of the trouble, though, is it seems like, from what I gather,
very much, yeah.
Othram is able to do things, though, that other companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. What did he say about that, Meg?
There's one specific thing that they can do with smaller amounts of DNA.
Right.
At Othram that others
can't. That's the thing, is that and maybe that would be worth watching, like Meg said, if Bob is okay with it, because that way we could have a discussion about it. Because for anyone who, for example, JJ, who says want to discuss with more people, we like to have really nice conversations here where that are either we're just laughing and being, we're laughing about whatever random bullshit, or we're intelligent conversations, I guess, as intelligent as we can be, not that, whatever, but good conversations discussing things, right? Thinking them through and whatnot, where everybody can sort of weigh in on it. And I think that's really valuable for everybody. And so that's totally something that I love doing, with you guys. And so, so that's something that maybe we can do if Bob is that's cool or what have you. But I do think it is an important point, right? Because I agree with what you said, Kane, 100%. And it is, then that's the thing, though, that they have that one thing, that piece of technology or whatever it is that sets them apart from the other companies. But I totally understand how that's problematic. It's not. So, handling that going forward will be interesting. And Happy Annie says, I have friends being evacuated and I'm watching. Are you having more severe weather? I'm sure you said it in the chat and I probably missed it, Happy Annie.
Well, is it severe weather or the tsunami?
Well, the tsunami's over, right?
Was there a tsunami? There was no tsunami, right?
It seems like it petered out.
Yeah, it had to travel too far. Alaska had a chance, maybe, but The
wildfires, Jesus.
Wildfires? Is that's in Tennessee or something, right?
Well, no, she's on Vancouver Island.
Oh, really? Oh, no, I didn't hear about that. That's terrible.
Twiz says, bring on the tsunami then. Oh, Twiz. I mean.
Twiz wants to go surfing the Snake River.
Oh, my God. He can go visit Chuck. Cute. Chuck was his little friend he made out there.
Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck. Twiz, you want to tell everybody who Chuck is?
Chuck is Chuck. What do you mean?
I hate it when he always answers things like this, doesn't he, guys?
Yeah, he's a smartass.
Yeah.
You have to keep him in line.
I need to shorten that leash.
You do. You got to get him one of those choke collars or a shock collar. Otherwise, he thinks he's the shock collar.
So, Twiz, what do you want? Shock collar or choke collar?
I don't want any collar. I'm a man.
Dang
Well,
it.
how am I supposed to keep my short leash on you without your collar?
Get a chest thing.
Yeah, the shoulder one, the chest one's the best one.
Like a
For
harness?
Twiz, that would be
Harness?
appropriate.
A safety harness?
Like they're like the ones they have for the little kids at the airport.
Right. That's literally why I started laughing, because I was picturing that. That's really funny.
I remember when they first came out, I was like, wow. They were always bright red for some reason, so just like. Well,
I feel like they were usually green in my experience, bright green.
I
was
might
also
have seen it.
glad I'm not one of those kids. I'm like, oh my God.
I was so one of those kids. My parents wish they had that when I was
I
a kid.
bet they did. That does not surprise me at all.
Oh my gosh. You know what I used to do? I used to cry after we drove over a bridge because I like driving over the bridge. I would cry so much that they had to drive back over the bridge to shut me up.
Oh my God.
Hmm?
Double bridge. You were a double bridge kid.
Well, it's triple bridge because you go back and then you got to go back.
Uh-huh. Triple bridge, Kane. Y'all, Frodo is telling me he needs to go out. I am losing my voice, and we are at a good stopping point because this next one deals with the glove, the infamous glove. You guys know. I haven't read this yet, so I'm not going to look ahead, but I just saw it said glove right here, and I was like, oh.
I can read while you walk your dog.
Yeah, but I also have stuff to get ready. Because it's the weekend, I've got a bunch of lessons. I got to get stuff ready for my students and stuff too.
I guess.
Sorry, guys.
Who does cello lessons at 4 in the morning?
If I have time to go live tomorrow, I will. But it'll just depend on my lessons and stuff like that. So, but I do got to get stuff ready. I haven't had time to do much for my students at all this week because I stayed late at work every single day at the law firm. So. But I love all of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And especially we have some new squirrel friends. So love you guys. Annie, hope you're safe. Everybody, hope you're safe. Those of you guys on replay crew, love y'all too. Thank you, Twiz and Kane, for being here.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Kane, for reading, because reading Canebo. And yeah, any last thoughts, guys, from y'all?
I can go live. Maybe I'll go. You guys want me to go live and I'll not Kane B?
If you do, I'll pop in the chat when I can.
Okay, wait, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Let me set it up real quick. I can put a link in the chat. It takes like 2 seconds.
You're welcome, Tonka.
I know your dog's got to go.
I'm
changing the name of this channel, the Not Kane B. I'm changing it to Reading Canebo.
Love it. That's great. I fully support that idea. Love it.
Either that or MK Ultra.
So he's going to put a link in the chat. I can also redirect to that, but it'll probably be faster for him to just put the link in the chat than for me to go to edit the video settings where I can redirect. But for future reference, I can redirect because I've done that for other things. So like,
can you redirect?
Yeah, but like you might be able to get a link because
you have to go live first, though.
Oh, that's true. You do have to already be live. That's a good point. Yes, Twiz, that's right.
Well, it's already setting up. Hold on, I'm almost done.
So yeah, maybe putting, yeah, if you're already live, maybe that's, yeah, you'd have to.
It's going. I can go live right now. Hold on.
Okay, let me see. Maybe it'll already have an option where I can redirect. Let's see here. Reading Canebo.
Yep, that's on name in it.
We love it. We love the Reading Canebo. It's my fave. Let me see if it's available to redirect. What's that?
Looks good. Hold on. One more thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't see it here.
The thumbnail.
I'm not able to see it yet.
I have to. It takes a second. Hold on. Hold on, I have to find a good thumbnail. I'm picky. Sorry. Oops. Not there. Your poor dog. There we go.
You know, you can change the thumbnail, right? Like after you go live or while you're live. I've done that before. Like there's been times where I was streaming one trial and then something happened in another trial. So like I ended up like changing the thumbnail like mid live stream. So I know.
Okay. I'm streaming now. Let me go to YouTube. Got it.
I'm not seeing it, Kane.
Hang on. It's under not Kane B, that's why.
Yeah, but it's that it should pop up automatically.
What? Are you subscribed to not Kane B?
Yeah, of course I am, Kane.
Hold on. I was just checking. Yeah. I'm live. Let me see.
I think it might just be that it would have had to be more time probably for it to show up on here.
I'm done. It's done.
But did you put a link in the chat?
I'm trying to. I don't know where the.
I got it.
Hold on. Wait, I had it somewhere. Here.
You guys are so funny. We're doing great, guys. Lucy Heather says Kane isn't even doing anything. That's fucking funny.
I'm not.
Okay, I think Twiz got the link in the chat, guys. Well done.
That's it. Yep, that's the
one.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, we will all see each other over there. I'm gonna be doing things in the background as well, but I will also be in the chat.
Wait, Chelsea, real quick, put a link to the new documents for me and in the chat if you can, real quick, or to this document, so I can pick up where you left off.
Oh, there's not a new doc. There's not. You have to have the whole compressed file folder that you down like.
Oh, right, you download. I have it downloaded. Okay, I'll look.
Yeah, and it's like. I mean, somebody was saying it crashed their laptop that they tried to download it because of the size. Meg.
Really?
That's hilarious. Yeah. So there's the link. I mean, the link would just be the link to the freaking Moscow PD website where they have the link to download it, but like you'd have to download it. So, but regardless, we will pick up with this one next time, as well, because I have to read them all and have my chance to go through the little highlighter and all the rest. So, but okay, I'll see you guys over there. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. I love your guys' opinions. I love your guys' laughter and stories and all the things. You guys are awesome. But for now, squirrel. Sorry. Squirrel out.